Comic Timing is member supported by listeners like you over at patreon.com/comic timing. We thank you very much for your continued support of the show. Every little bit you give our way helps. And for as little as $1 a month, you get some behind the scenes access, such as occasional articles by Chris Nautis or Raph or me. You get some diary entries, occasional early releases when we can throw them your way. And we thank you very much once again for that continued support. Patreon.com/comic timing. One-time donations are available at paypal.me/IAM sci-fi, and enjoy. Hey there, folks. My name's Ian Levinstein, and welcome to episode 285 of Comic Timing. It works the first time every time, and we're ready here for a previews episode. Those of you who are very linear with your episode releases, enjoy your second episode of the week. As we had one out earlier this week. If you have not checked out the Superman Spider-Man episode with Brent Cassina, Raph, myself, and the one and only Sean Whalen, do check that out when you get the chance. But we're here tonight with the one and only Adam Murdo for another previews episode. Murd, what's going on?
Yeah, feeling good, Ian. Yeah, I've been deeply engrossed in rehearsals for Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat lately, so my inner theater geek is well exercised, and now my comic geek is getting jealous. So,
excellent
comic talk here.
Was just at the theater last night. Actually, I went to go see Anne Juliet for the first time, and every single song from the 90s and 2000s you can possibly fit into a musical, they found a way. And it's a lot of fun. It's, for those of you unfamiliar, it's basically what if Juliet survived the proceedings of Romeo and Juliet, and then what happens in her life afterwards. And it's very, very, very well done. Good times.
It is a feminist work, one might say.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, there was we at the Christmas shop in Stone Harbor. We had a budding little 16-year-old female theater geek working for us, not last summer, but the summer before. And she went up to New York on a bus trip to see that very show, and she was gushing about it afterwards.
Oh yeah, yeah.
She didn't really mention that it was a jukebox musical, but then she's 16 and probably had never heard most of those songs before.
Oh yeah, no, and it is jukeboxy out the wazoo. Like it's Backstreet, NSYNC, Katy Perry. They're all songs that were done by this one writer who wrote all these songs for all these different acts, which is why he's able to do that. Like basically the same guy who wrote and made "Hit Me Baby One More Time" made like every song that you heard on the radio and on the pop charts in that general time period. So we jump all over the place. Pussycat Dolls, you name it, you got it. And most importantly, James Monroe Egelhard, aka the original genie from the Broadway version of Aladdin, was in this particular production of Anne Juliet as well, and he was just as excellent as he always is.
Must have been a real bundle of energy.
Absolutely. And that has been your Broadway segment for today as we move ourselves over to previews. And yes, you have just enough time to pay attention to previews this month. Sometimes we get it early, sometimes we get it just at the end of the month. And this is exactly where we're rolling this time around. Yep, we got. We'll start off with the lunar catalog at the beginning, as we have been tending to do these past couple of months. And we'll go ahead and start things off at the beginning of said catalog with Ablaze. And Ablaze this month has themselves some Cimmerian Zuthal of the Dusk, #1. Not at all Conan the Barbarian, we swear.
But it is. If you look at this...
No.
They mentioned my name in the solicitation copy. They just can't title it Conan. It's kind of like DC's Shazam Captain Marvel situation.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's very much based on the Robert E. Howard classic. Just, they don't have the rights to the actual naming of it, but the naming of the character. So, yeah, page 4 here lets you know all about that as the Cimmerian returns. The classic pulp tales adapted to the comics medium with all bloody guts and glory intact. And this is a Conan accompanied by Natala, A slave of wild beauty advances through the seeming infinity of a sandy desert, with water and food supplies now exhausted, with the two stranded in turn under a blazing sun and frigid nights. It's clear that the inevitability is death, right? As Natala's final ounce of strength leaves her, Conan spots something in the distance. It's a city that shines like glass. It's Zutha. Ba-ba-ba. So let's find out how this one goes here on page 4. And trust me, we'll have more Conan to talk about when we get the Titan, I'm sure. But you get 2 different varieties in this particular previews moment.
Oh, and here's something from Ablaze that I think I'm actually going to buy.
There you go.
So on the very next page, it's a new thing called Valhalla.
Love it.
And it's about a lady named Adis Frigg's daughter, who's a descendant of the goddess Frigg, and she specializes in treaty law between deities.
Nice.
It's kind of a great concept.
Yeah.
So if you're a fan of like Wolf and Bird, I mean, this raises this up to the heavenly firmament. I'm down.
Yeah, gotta love when they put new and interesting concepts in there with old school law and lore, and that's 100% what we're getting here on page 6. Valhalla, good times. Nice old school artwork there on the following page as well. And then, just as a reminder, issue 5 of Torpedo 1972. If you're looking for a little bit more of your crime-style stuff, this is the 5th issue of that particular series here on page 8. And there'll be a trade to come of that in the not-too-distant future. Get some manga-esque action here with John Juk Jin and Park Jin Hwan with The Breakers. The Breaker, that is, New Waves Omnibus Volume 1. This is containing everything from epic fights, the most heartbreaking drama. The Breaker New Waves continues the captivating story of Su Wan Lee and the martial arts underworld. Much anticipated sequel to the best-selling manhwa action series has arrived in this form in The Breaker New Waves Omnibus on page 10. All right. And that we get some new Osamu Tezuka out of Ablaze as well with Neo Faust. This was previously offered through other distributors.
Still hearing a lot of that.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. A page or 2 up, there's a collection of Mark Russell's Traveling to Mars, I think it's called.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And that, I think, originally came out from a different publisher, too.
Oh, wow.
I want to say that was AWA originally, but now here it is at Ablaze, and it too previously offered through other distributors.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and that has Eisner praise for it as well. Eisner Award winning Traveling to Mars there by Mark Russell there on page 11. So good call out for that. But yeah, most of the stuff at Ablaze this month is previously offered through other distributors that were named Diamond. So one of Tezuka's final unfinished works is presented here in Neo Faust. After years of failure to discover the meaning of the universe, Professor Ichinowski decides to end his own life, but he's interrupted by the sorceress Mephisto. They strike a bargain. In exchange for his soul, Mephisto will grant his wish for a fulfilled life. And this was originally published over the course of 1988. Neo Faust is the final of 3 adaptations of the classical Faust legend by the godfather of manga, Osamu Tezuka, which Ablaze is proud to present in English for the very first time.
That's something.
Yes, it is. Yep. So yeah, glad it's finally making its way out there for everybody, and it's only $20 here, and this is definitely a piece of very important manga history available for you on page 13. All right. Down we go further. Let's go ahead and leave the world of Ablaze. And instead, on we go to Abrams. And right here, Voice of Versa, Finding My Voices Behind the Mic by the one and only Billy West. Yep.
Memoir from one of the biggest names in the voiceover game.
You better believe it. And that is what we have here. One of the most accomplished and beloved voice actors alive today brought to life original animated characters like Stimpy from Ren and Stimpy, eventually also played Ren in later seasons.
That's right.
Doug Funny, Philip J. Fry, Professor Dr. Zoidberg, Zep Brannigan, and Professor Farnsworth, and more on Futurama. Played iconic characters like Bugs Bunny and Elmer Fudd in Space Jam, Popeye and Woody Woodpecker, and it goes on and on. In Voice Versa, West recounts his remarkable life in show business and the circuitous route that got him there, from radio call-in contests that led to skits on morning radio in Boston, to a one-off appearance on the Howard Stern show that turned into a regular role, to a big move to Hollywood and legendary roles working with other talented creators. That is what you will get in this memoir here, Voice Versa, Billy West, on page 27. Down a little bit further, a new Mighty Marvel team-up, Spider-Man Mighty Mayhem by Mike Mayhack. Fourth action-packed original story in the Mighty Marvel team-up graphic novel series, featuring Spider-Man as he journeys with Thor, Valkyrie, and the Warriors 3. So nice all-ages Spider-Man Thor team-up action here out of Abrams on page 28.
Brought to you by Mike Mayhack of Cleopatra in Space.
In space! Down we go to the superhero's journey. Once again, from our favorite publisher, previously offered through other distributors, Abrams Comics. Written and illustrated by Patrick McDonnell and Marvel Entertainment. This is a thrilling, hilarious, mind-blowing, weird, and poignant, just like the stories that inspired it. Patrick McDonnell flexes the same artistic muscle that drew Kirby to collage, mashing up childhood memories, Silver Age stories, and his own works of fine art, fueling an explosion of creativity, wonder, and beauty. Those are words from Glenn David Gold, author of Carter Beats the Devil and I Will Be Complete, on this particular superhero's journey here.
So it's kind of an autobiographical account of the writer, just using imagery from Marvel Comics to tell the story of how he became interested in comics.
Yep.
And how that shaped his journey into maturity.
What better way to put it? Yep. So that's available there to you on page 32. And another previously offered, but I got to mention it anyway, The Odyssey of Star Wars. It's a retelling of the Star Wars saga in the style of classic epic poetry. I love these things. This is awesome.
Yep, they've done the whole trilogy and then some in Shakespearean form, and now we're going after Homer.
Yep. I have the Avengers version of the Avengers Shakespeare on my shelf here. So yeah, this is Jack Mitchell's Odyssey of Star Wars on page 35. All right, out of Abrams we go, and
there was a new thing from Abstract there we should probably mention.
Yes,
it's a Zero issue from from Abstract there, from the creator of.
Terry Moore.
Yes, it was. I was blanking on his last name. Creator of Strangers in Paradise, Terry Moore. Fear of Death #0. It's a Rachel Rising tie-in, which I think also ties into a couple of other things that Terry Moore has done.
Very cool. Yep.
A one-shot featuring the origin of Zoe. Yes, that means something to somebody. But for all you Terry Moore fans out there, following in the path of the Shiznit Pimp, who always was a great advocate for Strangers in Paradise and everything Terry Moore did.
Yep.
Don't miss that.
Right there for you on page 42 if you are interested.
And then rolling right on into Archie.
Jughead, Pie-mageddon OS.
Yep, this is a one-shot comic about a food fight in Riverdale. But, I like a little bit of Archie in my diet every once in a while, and this happens to be written by Tom King, with art by Archie great Dan Parent.
Yep.
With some input from Rich Kozlowski and Jack Morelli, who probably did the lettering. He's a master letterer. It's one shot about pies
and pie fighting. So yeah, why not? It's available on July 15th, and the pedigree behind it in and of itself means that it's worth checking out there on page 45. Looks like it's going to be stupid in all the right ways.
Amen to that.
I may have to pick this up and then just make sure I have a pie handy for when I start getting hungry.
That's a fine idea. I'm going to try to make mine blackberry.
And then we're not done with Archie quite yet, as we also get Archie Comics celebrates America's 250th right here.
It's due to be released on July 1st, so just in time for the semi-quincentennial.
Yep. And this one won't have a UFC fight, so yeah, page 50.
I sure as heck hope not. But yes, patriotic. There's some kind of new content, I'm sure, followed by a few reprints of a patriotic nature.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
From Archie's 85-year history. I kind of wish it were longer than just 32 pages. If it were, I would probably be putting it in my cart.
Yeah. This deserves to be an 80-page giant.
Yes.
Yep.
Absolutely. Summer memories are made of 80-page giants.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, speaking of summer memories, though, there's also a Betty and Veronica swimsuit special one-shot.
Script and art by Various. Just the way you like it right there. Hit the beach with this special collection of some of the best and most eye-catching Betty and Veronica swimsuit images, pin-ups, fashion pages, and one-page comics collected for the first time ever in a comic-size format.
Aha. So it's not exactly a comic, it's a collection of imagery and a couple of gag strips, I guess.
Pretty much, yep.
Also okay.
I agree. Yep. Ooh, and I love the Dan DiCarlo covers to follow, man.
Oh, yes. He is the Viscount of Archie Cheesecake.
Yes, indeed. Yep. And the use of blue there, in particular on that Betty cover, I really appreciate.
And Archie has been getting into the facsimile edition game lately, and here is a reprint of the first issue of Little Archie. Originally published 70 years ago in 1956. Wow. It's basically the Archie babies. It's Archie, Veronica, Betty, and all the other Riverdale kids when they were much younger children.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yep. Written and drawn by the late, great Bob Bowling.
Check it out on page 54 if you want to get it with all the ads and all the accoutrements.
And there's even a few variant covers.
Yep. I really like the ice cream cover here by Bob Bowling. That's good stuff.
Yes. Oh, Pop's Chocolate Shop. Okay, so a lot of good stuff from Archie in July. And
moving on to Alone in Space, a collection. You're going to keep saying in space. I'm going to keep saying it like that. Author is Tilly Walden on this one, and it's a complex lyrical story about queer love, fantasy, coming of age, and cats. Now available in this collection. In End of Summer, Lars is battling illness and boredom in a secluded castle at the start of an endless winter with a giant cat to keep him company, and fraying family bonds to test his strengths. And then in I Love This Part, two small-town girls kill time and try to muddle through school when an unexpected romance blooms. Finally, with the surreal A City Inside, that's where we recount one woman's life from childhood on in a poetic tale about coming of age when you think you're all past that. So that's all there for you here in Alone in Space, a collection on page 57. Down we go further into AWA and the Ultimate Oz Universe Volume 2, Into the Outer Lands by Mike Deodato, Fred Van Lente, and Larry King.
Probably not the Larry King you're thinking of.
Hey, you never know. You never know.
Well, and there's even a foreword by Neil Patrick Harris.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right, then. This is absolutely the Oz you were waiting for, Murd.
Not exactly, Ian, but it is an Oz that does at least interesting to me.
Yes.
I have the first volume. There are parts of it, both visually and narratively, that I thought were very true to the flavor of the original Oz books, and others that were just
there.
that shit. Just going off on a following a very different Yellow Brick Road in a very different direction. Yeah, so it's not. I have my issues with their describing it as a quote-unquote meticulously researched continuation of Baum's original novels. It's not that.
Okay.
All right, it's a reimagination, yes. This creative expansion upon, sure, but it's it's not so much a continuation as it is like a retelling of some of the lesser-known second book, like the books that Baum published after the well-known original.
Okay.
Like the volume 1 basically is a retelling of the happenings of the second book in which Princess Ozma appears, and and it mixes in some elements from the third book, kind of like the movie Return to Oz did back in 1985, all those years ago, which was kind of my gateway to the Oz books in the first place.
Sure.
And they're continuing from there into more stuff taken from Ozma of Oz, the third book here, because we're talking about Dorothy and her hen Bellina showing up and going up against Princess Langwidere and her collection of multiple heads in the land of Ev. The Gnome King is hinted to be involved. So yeah, this is not a continuation, so don't even think of it in those terms if you're any kind of a fan, but try to enjoy it for the merits that it has. The artwork is pretty, it's pretty. I mean, if you scroll down, there are some sample pages in here. But it reminds me a little more of the Caliber Press Oz series by Stuart Kerr and Ralph Griffiths, I think their names were. It was black and white. And it was about a bunch of modern-day American people who stumbled into Oz to find that it had been conquered by the Gnome King and Mombi the Witch, and all the good guys had been turned into bad guys. And it was a story of like a fight for the freedom of Oz and her denizens. This is a little more of that tone, but even more gonzo than that.
Well, I will tell you that of the Deodato artwork I've seen in recent memory, outside of this right here in on the far left, it's mostly Deodato artwork I can swear by. Like it feels like he's actually putting some good effort into there. Like there've been some half good experiences I've had with Deodato in recent memory, and this looks like it's definitely not that. So
yeah, I think he's done his visual research. I mean, he's looked at probably Mike Ploog's design work for the Return to Oz movie. I'm sure he's looked at John Arneal's illustrations from the original books. Yeah, and then there's some other stuff that's just kind of. There was a team of like female action heroes that popped up in the first volume, kind of apropos of nothing. And there's cyborgs here and there. Just, I don't know. It's kind of a strange hodgepodge of influences. But I do see a lot to like in it. It's not a perfect adaptation or continuation of any sort, but I think I'm still getting behind it, and I'm still ordering volume 2.
Oh, sure, yeah. As you would expect from somebody like Fred Van Lente to begin with, is that you're gonna get some good stuff anytime his name's attached to anything.
Yeah, the man is a research junkie. I mean, he read all of Baum's books at least.
You better believe it. Yeah.
Maybe not by any of the succeeding writers, although I wish he had. But I'm sure he at least read Baum's 14 books, and he may not have decided to act on what he learned from those books, but I'm sure it's all in his head as he's writing this stuff.
Oh yeah. Well, that's there on page 71 with a whole bunch of preview pages to follow. And then from the writers of Planet Death, we got Derek Kolstad and Robert Venditti on this with artwork by the one and only Alex Maleev. That's a team right there. Bringing us something, again, called Warbird here. Cole was a repo man of the highest caliber, repossessing heavily guarded mega yachts from billionaires, private planes from captains of industry, and everything in between. If it's got an engine, he can drive it, ride it, or fly it straight out from under the nose of an army of guards. Now he's handed the job of a lifetime, the impossible job, one that will bring him face to face with the highest stakes. And that is what we have here with Warbird.
And that job is to steal a Russian military plane called the Warbird, which was patched together from stolen bits and pieces of designs from a bunch of different countries. So he's supposed to steal this $1 billion. Only 3 of them exist. He needs to steal one and destroy the other 2, which could get him in a lot of trouble.
Oh, yeah. Yep, to say the least. And this seems like something that might be up Sir Everly's alley, so I may have to let him know about it. So,
well, yeah, I mean, parts of the description of the premise kind of sound like a Garth Ennis war comic, but at base, it's basically an international heist story.
Oh yeah, yep.
So it leans a little more into Chris's fondness for James Bond than his fondness for war comics.
Most definitely. Yep.
Either way, you're right. He might want to give this a look.
Yep. Well, that's available there on page 80 if you're interested. And the artwork is going to be damn fine because it's Alex Maleev, and he is still one of the greats in the business. And boy, oh boy, did I have 87 things to do with Warbird, and then suddenly out of nowhere, banana number one.
Banana number one. I think the title is actually Banana Number One, and then it's issue number 1 of Banana Number One.
Love it.
Yep, it's written by Josh Dysart with art by the magnificent Mr. Kevin Maguire.
Oh yeah.
And it's a story about an anthropomorphic banana. I mean, it's a hard premise to resist, Ian. I mean, you gotta admit, it's got appeal.
That's it. Thank you so much for entering the Borscht Belt with me. It's so lovely to have you join us here, and make sure to try the veal. It's delicious tonight. It truly.
You're the waitress. Yeah. Ian, if Raph were here, I think I would have had to virtually arm wrestle him.
Oh my God!
One of us got to make that joke first.
Yeah, unless you slipped on it, but either way.
Join the parade.
Oh yeah, banana number one. Kevin Maguire. This seems like it's a Adult Swim-esque premise right here. Into the fundament zone. Brace yourself for the startling story. See, here I am repeating words. The startling story of a genetically mysterious 7-foot-tall sentient banana raised in secret, turned race car driver, turned sex symbol, turned global celebrity, and ultimately turned revolutionary icon, caught between human civilization, fruit rebellion, and the coming war between the two.
I'm already entranced by that phrase, fruit rebellion.
You better believe it.
I found a real banana republic, baby.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Plus, a glow-in-the-dark variant by Mike Allred. There's an homage cover by Raymond Gay. There's a Virgin Banana cover by Leno Francis Yu, and a Chris Bacalo variant of this as well. They're going all in on the banana, and I am all for that.
Oh, the greatest variant of them all is a little further down. You got to keep scrolling.
Oh. Okay. Oh, okay. Like that. Oh, enjoy that. Oh,
it's the glow in the dark one there.
Yes.
That's not even what I'm talking about, but that's pretty cool too.
Oh yeah. Oh man. Those of you listening to it, it's basically a send up to Spider-Man number 1 by Todd McFarlane. Yep. Yeah. All right. Oh my God.
Here we are.
Oh yes, with an actual banana.
Yep. Shout out to this is a controversial bit of fine art from recent years. You can actually get an edition of this which has one yellow Cavendish banana duct taped to it.
Oh my God.
Only 3 exist.
Or you could do it yourself, but this one only 3 exist.
That would lack provenance, though.
Yeah.
And you know what? It only costs 79 cents, even though only 3 exists.
I would be so worried that I'd get it in the mail and it would be completely brown through and just bleed onto the cover.
Banana puree everywhere on top of everything else you ordered.
Ugh.
Yeah,
I know. My God. And it's only 79 cents.
Yeah, they got some pretty potent promotional minds working at Bad Idea right now.
Oh man, I love it. And there's banana number 2.
Number 2. There is a number 2, yes, and it's just a guy in a banana suit.
Yep, looks like J. Jonah Jameson gone crazy.
A little bit, yeah.
Oh my God, man! If all I talked about for the rest of this previews was this comic, I'd be okay with that. But there's more, so we'll get to that.
Oh, but I do hope we've brightened all of your days a little bit.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely.
Add a little potassium to your diet.
All right. We'll go with this here, Megalith, the Olympus Saga, by Matt Kint. It's a number 0 for you, an explosive origin to Matt Kint's blockbuster, with shades of kaiju in there and battle mechs and all stuff like that. Pacific Rim, throw it in for good measure on this one. Brace yourself for a wild thrill ride as Special Operative Hawk takes on his deadliest mission yet, recon in Area 23. In this essential prelude to Olympus Saga number 1. So we'll find out more about that here on page 119 with Matt Kint on the writing and Ramon Villalobos and Jonathan Marks Baravecchia on the artwork chores. And the variant cover here, own an iconic masterpiece. It's not the original. It's not the original.
Strap Seurat's Sunday afternoon on Le Grand Jatte under the cover of this comic about a giant monster fighting robot.
Sure. Yeah. Why not? Woo. It has so much to do with it and more, I'm sure,
Is it too late to tape a banana to it?
With a company called Bad Idea, sometimes there are some, but
yeah. They live up to their brand. You got to give them that.
They really do. They really do. Not everything can be a banana, unfortunately. Oh, well. But there can be Hank Howard, Pizza Detective, The Inside Job, the return of David Latham's crime saga here on page 129. So if you checked out the first Hank Howard, Pizza Detective, now we get the sequel, The Inside Job by Robert Venditti and David Latham. 129 for that. That one does not have any sort of special artist edition cover or anything like that from the looks of it, thank God. Man, oh man, Bad Idea is all over this catalog, and I am done with what's here for the most part. So let's head on over to Chronicle Books and see if they have anything worth it.
Well, they got some bookmarks.
They do. They also have a Howl's Moving Castle journal. So if you want a journal with full-color artwork in the front and back covers of Howl's Moving Castle, it's there for you on page 165. They also have a Princess Mononoke on page 165 as well.
Ian, under Clover Press. This is a book that you've been predicting for years. Yes, it's brilliant.
Oh, man, fantastic. Fantastic. Yep, the DC art of Bruno Redondo presented here. The next in a series of stunning the DC art of books and prints. And this has all the Redondo you could ever possibly want here on page 167. Man. Redondo's defining run on Injustice and Nightwing, as well as special selections from Justice League, Batman Black and White, Harley Quinn, Black, Red and White, and Black, White and Red, and much more. And an introduction by Tom Taylor himself, longtime collaborator with Bruno Redondo. Thank you for pointing that one out. Chris would have had our heads otherwise.
Yep, we've been saying for years there needs to be a coffee table book collecting his Nightwing covers, and by gosh, it's finally here.
Yes, indeed. They also have included in this the Nightwing issue 87 Wingspan edition. Now available as one long, continuous, accordion-style 22-page story. Look at it. Look at the wonder of this.
Wow.
Oh, my.
That is a great idea.
Yeah, I'm surprised DC didn't come up with it the first time around, and yeah, this is completely beautiful. I love the idea of it.
Granted, they're charging $45 for it, but
hey,
that's not a great idea. But the presentation format itself most certainly is.
Of course, yeah. And, I mean, the only people picking this up are really, really big fans that want themselves something absolutely special that Clover Press is putting out there, as I'm sure this takes specialized printing to ensure that it doesn't completely break the minute that it unfolds. So, yeah, this is going to be something special here on page 170.
Wow. The story unfolds to approximately 159 inches long.
Wow.
You got a nice long blank space, patch of wall in your home. You can unfold that and frame it.
Yep. And Clover Press continues the other publisher stuff that they're known for here with the classic newspaper comics in softcover for the first time. In a die-cut vertical slipcase, we get the Amazing Spider-Man classic newspaper comics from 1980 by Lee and Ramita Sr. here on page 171. You wanted it in soft cover, it's available there for you for a little bit cheaper than it would go otherwise. Only $30 for 160 pages of black and white and color because the Sunday strips are included. Page 171 for that. All right, and in we go to DC.
DC.
Yep. As the epic Elseworld saga returns with Dark Knights of Steel 2 #1, and we'll talk about that on the inside. But first, a milestone has finally made it here on page 1/180.
Oh, yeah, we got another landmark on our hands here, folks.
Yes, we do. Action Comics issue 1100. Wow. And this is not only a DCKO epilogue, but it's going to have a whole bunch of other stuff in there as well, as Mark Waid, Joshua Williamson, Sophie Campbell, and Dan Slott all come aboard for stories in this Action Comics 1100, with artwork by Skylar Partridge, Ryan Sook, Daniel Sampier, of course Dan Mora,
Because he draws everything.
exactly, and Lucas Meyer. Good for him on this. And we honor Superman's storied career and turn towards his thrilling future in this particular issue. So here's to 1100 issues of Action Comics.
And what looks like a wraparound cover by the aforementioned Mr. Sook.
Mm-hmm.
Showing Superman of many eras.
And the annual for this year, we get Year 1000, #1 by Joshua Williamson.
Yeah, not quite as cool as DC 1 million, but it's a step towards the future.
Yeah.
This is another DCKO epilogue, which may be a little confusing to me. I chose not to care about that whole event.
It was a stupid amount of fun. It really was.
Well, that's a good amount of fun.
Yeah.
Only we could measure out stupid quantities that easily. Mm-hmm. But yes, apparently Superman's got a little residual King Omega energy, and he's using it to try and fix things in the future. He's wielding the Time Trapper's powers, and he's trying to set things right for his old friends, the Legion of Superheroes. So this could be set up for a future Legion project, which would be great, because they've been absent from DC Comics on the regular for too long, in this reader's opinion. It's written by Josh Williamson, art by Eddie Barrows and Yasmin Putri, and it's got Superman flying around in the future trying to fix things. And those of us old enough to remember 1994 knows that things can sometimes go a little hinky whenever a superhero with however good intentions tries to wield omnipotence for the right reasons.
Oh, yeah.
So who knows? We may be seeing some Crisis minor rewriting of the DC timeline in this. So for that and for the Legion angle, and I just like to see what Superman would do, how he would go about using powers like the Time Trapper has. I think I don't want to pass this one up.
Well, look, for once, it's not a Green Lantern with omnipotent power, so I'm okay with that. Whether it be Kyle or Hal, like they've all had their chances of I'm going to go crazy because I have strong amounts of power. Well, now it's Clark's turn, so let's see how this goes. I do appreciate that that at least one of the images in here looks like it's Batman Beyond era Superman. As he's got the white costume on, which usually symbolizes that in the corner there. So yeah, we'll be getting that as well as some Commandy from the looks of it, and
what we seem to be seeing here is a lot of members of the Legion in battle with characters from various DC alternate futures.
Correct. Yeah.
So we have Pharaoh Lad putting a chokehold on Omak, for example. Yep. Commandy meets Timberwolf, and so on.
Yep.
So that seems like a lot of fun, since figuratively speaking, the Legion has been in conflict with other DC alternate futures over the years. Now Williamson is making that literal.
Yep. And
cool story.
It was announced. I'm a member of the Legion of Substitute Podcasters group on Facebook, and they recently reminded everybody that supposedly this summer was when we were supposed to be getting more Legion originally, and now it looks like it may theoretically happen as of this annual, which will then lead to a new Legion of Superheroes #1, perhaps in August or September. But it was supposed to be part of the Next Phase initiative, and we are getting there. So it'd be nice to see.
Yeah, better late than never. Mm-hmm. Well, we've got 1,000 years.
Oh, yeah.
Up to 'em.
Yep. And by the way, Joshua Williamson on this with artwork by Eddie Barrows and Yasmin Putri on page 2/181 of the catalog.
Yeah, July of 2026 has a 5th week in it, so DC is filling that up with several different annuals and oversized specials.
Yep.
And on page 3, here's another one, Justice League Night Vision Special, which is an outgrowth of what Mark Waid has been doing in Justice League Unlimited.
Yep.
It's a 48-page special. Looks like it's a team-up between Batman and Lex Luthor to deal with some unexpected consequences of the League's current villain amnesty program.
Yep. Mark Waid and Joshua Williamson teaming up on this one with Miguel Mendoza on the artwork chores. Page 3/182. Don't usually see the team up of Lex and Batman, to say the least. So this will be a nice change of pace.
I've always found it an interesting match because I always kind of thought of them as being two sides of the same coin in much the same way that Lex and Superman are.
Yep. Remembering back from the repercussions of No Man's Land, where Lex Luthor was one of the main forces that rebuilt Gotham, and that brought him into the throes of Batman's path for a while there, as he kind of had like co-residence in Gotham and Metropolis at the time. It was a fascinating change of pace. All right, 22nd issue of Absolute Batman, as the Robin's nest in Gotham's backyard, and Batman faces ultimate defeat. Harley Quinn's origin is revealed. So Scott Snyder and Werther Deledra on the writing and artwork chores for this on page 4/183. And the second issue of Absolute Catwoman, that is, on the next page. Not Catman, Catwoman on the next
I'd
page.
read Absolute Catman, sure.
As would I. And Superman wielding a hammer.
That's being struck by lightning while he's battling King Shazam. So
Yep.
There's a certain intercompany symbolism there, I think.
Oh, most definitely. Yep. Absolute Superman issue 21 there on page 6. And a divine threat hits home for Diana in Absolute Wonder Woman 22. As a growing threat for Diana makes an evolutionary leap forward there. Can Grodd be saved in Absolute Flash issue 17? The Flash and the Rogues work to liberate Colorado from Grodd's control, but can they save Grodd as well as the town? That's page 8/187 there. And then, of course, the horror Absolute Green Arrow and Absolute Green Lantern there, as Absolute Green Lantern issue 16 gives us Absolute Sinestro. So we are getting some Sinestro action written by Al Ewing with Sid Kotian on page 9/188 there. All right. From comic to screen, the art of Supergirl we'll mention in passing here. James Field and Bilquis Everly did the cover for this, as it's a nice hardcover here showing the evolution of this particular version of Supergirl, from the Woman of Tomorrow series that came out to the actual movie that's going to be in theaters. So if you're interested in some behind the scenes type stuff there, that's there for you on page 10/189. Ooh, and then some Clayface.
Indeed, some Clayface. Mm-hmm. It's #1 of a 6-issue miniseries. It's called Clayface Celebrity Dirt, which is excellent.
Yeah.
And it's very frank about the fact that this is meant to tie into the Clayface movie that's being released by DC Studios. Mm-hmm. Written by Jude Ellison S. Doyle, art and cover by Fran Galan. And it's Equal parts body horror and Hollywood glamour, it says.
Yep.
And I gotta say, though, this is going to sound weird coming from me. You know what a traditionalist I tend to be.
Mm-hmm.
I almost wish that they weren't still using the name Basil Karlo for this character. I'm wondering if anybody working on current versions of the character even remembers who Boris Karloff was. But the name Basil Karlo was always intended, even back in the early 40s, when the original Clayface appeared, as just like a pun on like a thinly veiled takeoff on Boris Karloff's name. He was supposed to be like a washed-up horror movie actor who put on a scary mask and a cape and killed people with a knife in revenge for being denied the starring role in a remake of one of his old movies. So this is not at all the same concept here. I mean, he's an actor. That's about the only thing he has in common. And he's wielding the power set of the second Clayface, Matt Hagen. Right. And he's very clearly inspired, visually and otherwise, by the tragic version of Clayface that appeared in the animated series. Yeah. And they called that version of Clayface Matt Hagen, even though it was kind of a mashup of Karlo and Hagen, and I guess maybe a little Preston Payne, too, for fun. So I'm just kind of wondering why they don't just go ahead and call this one Matt Hagen, too.
I would agree with you on that. I also partially because I just grew up with that's what the name was to be because of, Batman the Animated Series and all that. So, yeah, I'm perfectly okay with moving on to Matt Hagen here. I think this might just be the choice of the creators, again, to tie it into those movie roots. But like you said, 3 people get the reference at this point. So, yeah.
Otherwise, Basil Karlo just seems like kind of an odd name for a contemporary film star to have.
I agree. Yep. Well, page 11/190 for that.
And I would definitely be buying it if it weren't promising or rather threatening body horror. And how I feel about that.
Yep. I do appreciate that it's still only $3.99 as well.
Absolutely.
Yep. All right, 5th issue of Deathstroke the Terminator here, as it's Deathstroke versus Deathstroke. As the timer runs out on his latest job, Slade Wilson comes face to face with his greatest nightmare, himself. Another Deathstroke is on the loose in the DCU, and everyone's target. Will Slade get his kill, or is he about to be terminated? Fascinating. Are they both him? Is it one of them a clone? Is there something else going on shenanigans-wise? Well, find out in issue 5 there on page 13. And the end of Firestorm? No, it's 4 issues in. He still has a lot more to go. So that's they're hinting at that, but not really.
Didn't they downgrade this one to a miniseries?
Oh, did they really? Oof.
I kind of think they had. Although I thought it was 5 issues rather than 4. But
all right. Well, it's either the last issue or there's one more to go. But either way, I still think the character's going to be okay. I think they're going to find a way to keep you.
I'm not really worried about him.
Yeah, he's already died like 4 times. I mean, come on.
Yeah, and the guy who created him just died, so it would seem disrespectful to do anything too trashy to him at this point.
100% agree. Yep. Page 192/13 for that. Deadman comes to Gotham in the 2nd issue of W. Maxwell Prince's The Deadman, as our eschatological escapades.
Eschatological escapades.
Thank you. Eschatological escapades. Tongue twister galore there.
Well, that trips a little more easily off my tongue because eschatological means having to do with the apocalypse, and so it's a word that I used in my thesis.
Brilliant. Eschatological escapades. Rocky waving inflatable tube man continues in this definitive depiction of DC's deadest do-gooder, as an unknown species of a demon has eaten the heaven-bound soul of a highway cyclist, compromising the sanctity of Earth's spiritual math and threatening the fragile glue that holds everything together. So, repercussions to be had here in the 2nd issue of The Deadman.
Let me just remind folks, this is by the creative team of Image's Ice Cream Man.
Mm-hmm.
So, very eclectic and imaginative horror that they did there. They're now bringing their approach over. Oh, they also did Superman the Kryptonite Spectrum recently.
Yes, they did. Yep.
You enjoyed that. See what they do with Deadman.
Of course. And on that very same page, the 11th issue of Fraction's Batman with Jorge Jimenez. Also Jorge Jimenez once again did terrific artwork on the first of those Superman Spider-Man crossover one shots. couldn't have asked for a better person to draw that. Terrific stuff. But here we go with Oho returning to Gotham City with her deadly sights set on unfinished business. Page 15/194 for that. And we're up to issue 140 of Nightwing, so we're only 10 issues away from a milestone for that series. Hope they do something special for issue 150. I'm sure they will. But Dan Waters and Dennis Cowan bring us the Highway to Hell in this particular issue of Nightwing.
Maybe they can get Redondo to come back and slap a cover on number 150.
Oh, they have to. They have to. And I wouldn't be surprised if Taylor and Redondo have at least a backup in that issue of some sort. You're going to have to do it. Page 16/195 for that. In Detective Comics 1111, Tom Taylor and Mikhail Janin are continuing their story here with Green Arrow and Black Canary along, as they're learning the combat skills that have served them throughout their careers as crime fighters. But there was another heroic hopeful in their ranks, a mysterious man known only as Prion, who suffered a tragic fate that still weighs upon the two. Now face to face with a young girl who goes by the same code name, they find the sins of their past coming back to haunt them. Fascinating.
Written by Tom Taylor, illustrated by Mikhail Hanin, so you know it's going to be pretty.
Yes, indeed.
And speaking of Tom Taylor and pretty art, the bottom of that same page, we have another one of those fifth week specials, the Detective Comics Annual 2026. Batman gets accused of political assassination on an alien planet, and Lobo drags him in for the bounty. So I'm not a huge fan of Lobo, as you know, but this is Batman going into outer space.
Yep.
And it's written by Tom Taylor with art by Nicola Scott. Looks like there's going to be some kind of backup by Dave Vilgaz and Fran Mariscal. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's basically a Brave and the Bold story.
Yeah. Yep.
It would have been worthy of the old Wade Perez series.
Oh, most definitely, yeah. And you got Nicola Scott in the artwork, and you can't beat that.
Yep. So I think I'll probably end up buying this one as well.
Yep. Page 18/197 there. And got to point out the cover to this Harley Quinn issue because it is great. The Harley Quinn Revenge Squad, baby. Elliot Kalin, Carlos Olivares on this one. It's me, Harley, versus my own greatest enemies of all time, the Harley Quinn Revenge Squad. They're so bad you couldn't find a hole deep enough to lock these folks away in. We've got the legally distinct hunter guy, the backward arms guy, the penny pincher, the corporate art security man, the tech bros, and the worst of the lot, the squad's shadowy leader. This one's so evil, they'd make Lex Luthor's secret flower garden wilt with just one glare. One glare! Don't get me started on what had happened with the two. Beautiful. I don't usually read Harley Quinn. I may very well read this issue.
Yep, I do pick up an issue every once in a while. But, this Elliot Kalin's been on it for a long while. So he or she is doing something right, clearly.
Yep. Meanwhile, a issue where Wally peers into the future, and that usually is not great for Wally. He's gotten lost in the future before. He's gotten trapped in the Speed Force before. A dark black costume version of him has showed up when he's been lost before. So, hopefully he's just a peer into the future that he can, then wind up learning from and not getting stuck there for a bit.
Well, yeah. This has been kind of a subplot of Ryan North's run on The Flash thus far. While he's developing a new power, he's getting flashes of insight. Allows him to get little glimpses of the future.
Okay. Got it.
And he's touching base with his rogues lately. I think there was a Captain Cold team-up expected to happen in this month's issue, and in July's issue, Heatwave shows up.
Yep. There's also a Flash Fact variant of this particular issue, which I'm happy to see there. All there on page 198/19. And in Superman Unlimited number 15, we get the Super Sons battling one another here as Damian takes on recently de-aged Jonathan Kent. If I remember correctly, they found a way to have both of them around at the same time. So there's aged Jonathan Kent and de-aged Jonathan Kent around at the same time now. So, you don't lose one character by doing that. You just gain a second one, essentially.
Huh. It's kind of like when Bendis had the all-new, all-different X-Men. Mm-hmm. So you had the older X-Men who've made bad life choices and the optimistic teenage versions of themselves running around simultaneously.
Yep.
So, sure.
Yeah,
it's a good
why
way
not?
of having your cake and eating it.
100%, yeah. Dan Slott, Lucas Meyer on that one. And it looks like we're going to have some Supergirl teaming up with is that Lex's sister there, perhaps? Or is that Lana Lang?
I'm not sure. It might not be either of them.
Okay.
Well, there's lots of people whose names start with L in the Superman mythos, as you know. I think this is somebody from Kandor.
Okay. All right. Well, good for them either way. We got an S and an L together in one way here on page 20/199 by Sophie Campbell.
And what a marquee slogan here on the top of page 21. Superboy Prime versus Manchester Black for the soul of DC Comics. Manchester Black is dead. He thinks that Superboy, since he knows that all of this is just a comic book, might have the inside track to resurrecting or bringing characters out of limbo. Mm-hmm. And so he's getting on Prime's case to do that for him. It's meta versus meta.
There's also a great Superboy Prime black costume Spider-Man story in that Superman Spider-Man one shot that you would greatly appreciate, Murd. As the story starts off with him talking to the black costume, not realizing that he showed up a couple issues after it was no longer a symbiote. So he's trying to have a conversation with it and then realizes it's just costume.
Cloth costume.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Pretty great.
Wow. So this is written by Josh Williamson, who's also doing that Superman one-shot where Superman's playing with time. So this is a guy that gets it. And art by, guess who? Dan Mora.
Mm-hmm. Wow. He just had time for it somehow. Good for him.
Every book, everywhere, all at once.
Exactly. Oh, and that black costume Prime one story is also by one and only Chris Priest. So
well.
Mm-hmm. That there on page 200/21. Ooh, and Justice League Unlimited. Guy Gardner is screwed up, and now his Justice Gang is caught in the middle of a war between intergalactic powers, looking to claim the powers of the Justice League. Meanwhile, the League, divided over the villain amnesty rule, is in tumult with hero against hero. And somehow Dan Mora also had time to draw this.
Yep. I wonder if this is an advanced form of Despero on the cover, because damn.
That's what I was thinking, even looking at it. It's a horrifying sight. And Justice League Unlimited issue 21 continues the story.
Oh, in JSA 21, continuing Jeff Lemire's run, we've got Darkseid versus the Spectre.
Ooh.
And it looks like Darkseid wins.
Oh, no. That's bad. Maybe that'll get us a new Spectre again.
It seems to be where we're heading with this arc of this series.
Yeah.
Just wish we didn't have to go to, Darkseid beating, an avatar of the creator god in order to do it. I'm a little queasy about that.
Agreed. Ooh. Nice simple covers like this are some of my favorites, and Green Lantern Corps issue 18 has a beautiful cover.
I do like that one quite a bit.
Yep. Powered up from his time in the Emotional Expanse, Guy Gardner and leaders from the other Corps work to fast track Corps leader Jessica Cruz's plan to unify all emotions, as the rest of the Lanterns hold off an armada of super advanced manhunters in Aya bodies on their way to Oa. Wowzers. That's some action right there.
Just linger on that cover a little longer. That is excellent.
Very nice.
Hope they position the title logo in such a way that it doesn't mess with that.
Agreed. Yeah. Green Lantern Corps issue 18 there, and then in Green Lantern issue 37, featuring the one and only Kyle Rayner, there's only one rule you need to abide by when going online, and Kyle just broke it. Don't feed the trolls. Takes on new meaning when a series of death threats pointed at Odyssey reveal a malevolent force that doesn't take kindly to being mocked by Earth's Green Lantern. Jeremy Adams may be channeling some things here with this particular issue, but Green Lantern issue 37 there, also on page 24/203. Whatever you do, don't read the comments. Don't read the comments.
Words to live by.
Yep.
On page 25, we got a couple of gems from Mark Waid's Batman Superman corner. First, Batman Superman World's Finest number 53 concludes the current Skartaris arc. And the villain of that arc, let me just remind all of you listening out there, is a character called the Tyrannosorcerer. So give Mark Waid your money for that.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's written by Waid with art by Adrian Gutierrez. And then this year's World's Finest Annual gives us a team-up between Alfred and Pa Kent.
No notes. Absolutely zero notes.
It's going to be great.
Oh, yeah.
Written by Mark Waid. It looks like Mark Russell is throwing his hat into the ring there, too. I don't know whether he's co-writing that story with Waid or whether he and Tyrone Finch are co-writing the backup, which is about Lois Lane going on a date with Bruce Wayne as part of a sting operation to get some intergang agents who are gunning for Lois. The art is by Clayton Henry, and the backup tale is drawn by Patrick Boutin. Nice.
DC's Hawk Girl Summer on the next page. Megan Fitzmartin, Andre Fratino, Trick Weeks, a bunch of other creators thrown in there for good measure. Artwork by a whole bunch as well. Summer has arrived, and so has your perfect, juicy beach read. Hot off the presses, this collection of scorching new stories showcases the babes and bombshells of DCU slaying the summer. Join Hawkgirl, Catwoman, Red Hood, Grace Choi, Thunder, Shining Knight, Kid Quick, and more as the female Furies dominate the beach, the boardwalk, and any bad guys in their way.
I'm assuming they don't mean the Fourth World female Furies.
I do not believe that, yes.
General term for just all the female characters that are headlining this thing.
Yes, you are correct, yeah. Well, Hawk-Girl Summer here, in it looks like it's going to be a nice, fun one-shot. Yep.
And it, too, is coming out in the 5th week of July.
We're 2 issues away from the conclusion of Philip Kennedy Johnson's Adventures of Superman Book of L, as the return of Superwoman occurs in this very issue. Philip Kennedy Johnson and Scott Godlewski there on page 26/205. Every single cover of DC X Sonic the Hedgehog Meta Legion fills me with joy. This one has, once again, Robotnik in a Luthor suit, and I am okay with that. That is a wonderful image to be had.
Looks good on him.
Yep, page 27/206. And as the cover teased, on page 28, we get the return of Tom Taylor's Dark Knights of Steel. Dark Knights of Steel 2, issue 1 here, officially with the Elseworlds tagging. Gotta mention that. When it first started out, I believe it was just before the Elseworlds initiative had launched. So now it's officially got that Elseworlds branding on it.
It's come home.
Yep. An entire medieval world was forever changed when a spaceship crash landed from a doomed planet. Monarchs died, kingdoms rose, long-buried treachery came to life, and a league was born. Now an ancient violent war brews beneath the waves, one that promises untold destruction should it break the surface. If the Legion hopes to weather it and protect the lands of its realms and beyond, it must first root out the treasonous agents hiding in plain sight amidst its own ranks. That's what we get here with the sequel to Dark Knights of Steel, once again on page 28/207.
Wow. Issue 1 of 12.
All right.
And if that's not enough for you, on the facing page, there's also a 48-page one-shot telling the origin story of this reality's version of Aquaman.
Okay.
Apparently was raised by Ma and Pa Kent instead of Superman.
Wow, that's fascinating.
Yeah, it's unexpected. It's also written by Tom Taylor, because who else? And the art is by Riccardo Federici.
All right. Oof. Gotta love that Wonder Woman image there as well on that same page. Good stuff.
She gets herself a Pegasus in this reality.
Mm-hmm. That there on page 29/208. And Lex Luthor has a plan in Kenny Porter's Superman Father of Tomorrow, issue 3, as Jor-El sets out to revolutionize the world with his new energy source, but General Sam Lane has other plans for Jor-El's tech. Meanwhile, Lex Luthor travels the globe in search of power. Page 30/209 for that particular Elseworlds. And for any of you folks who are fans of 100 Bullets, well, Vertigo brought it back. 100 Bullets, the U.S. of Anger, number 1 here, by Azzarello himself and Eduardo Riso. Not many people made it out alive from the fall of the Trust in 100 Bullets. Lono did, just barely, as it sent him spiraling on a years-long international odyssey. His one-time protege, Luke Hughes, was the only one smart enough to walk away clean, but now tragedy has come knocking on Loop's door, and the scent of blood has attracted a dangerous stray dog. Lono's back, and he's on the hunt through a network of good old boys and militias, mega churches, millionaires, and madmen. Yep.
Sounds like Azzarello's got a few things to say about the way things are going in this country.
He sure as heck do. Yep. So, 100 Bullets, the U.S. of Anger, on page 31/210. Meanwhile, the 4th issue of Swamp Thing 1989 by Rick Veitch and Tom Mandrake, once again bringing that into print finally here, on page 34/213. Facsimiles in a month. The Caped Crusader rumbles with the God of Thunder. So it's Thor, but not that Thor.
Nope. But it certainly is a Thor.
Oh yeah, no, most definitely. And DC's Thor has the red beard and a purple outfit to go along with some gold accents on the legs and the helmet there. So Batman issue 127, Jerry Coleman and Bill Finger on the writing chores, Dick Sprang and Sheldon Moldoff on the artwork, and Robin Dies at Dawn. Also in facsimile here, issue 156 of Batman by Bill Finger and Sheldon Moldoff.
I gotta say, some of these things they choose to do facsimile editions of, I think they're just drawing numbers out of a hat or something.
This one at least makes sense.
Yeah, the ones on these 2 pages do make sense.
Oh yeah, yep. Green Lantern number 49, of course, the famous Hal Gone Crazy issue of Emerald Twilight there, by Ron Mars and Fred Haynes, and then Justice League of America issue 200 gets the facsimile edition treatment by Conway himself and artwork by George Perez. Brett Breeding, Pat Broderick, Jim Aparo, Dick Giordano, Gil Kane, Carmine Infantino, Brian Boland, and Joe Kubert. That's how you do a celebration issue right there.
Kind of sobering when you think of how many of those gentlemen are now no longer with us.
Very true. Yep, very true. This one will also have a Superpowers variant featuring a Black Canary action figure as the very variant there. Page 36/215. And introducing Barry Allen, we get a showcase issue 4 facsimile here by Kanninger and Broom with Carmine Infantino.
Yep, that one. I'm surprised it's taken them this long to facsimilate that one.
I know, yeah. Fire bad. New content in Mad, good. So we are getting new Mad content here for Mad Magazine issue 601 by the usual gang of idiots and an idiot in a costume. They're on page 37. Oh my God. The pun in this name alone. Thank you for that. Aquamana Team, more than a dream. It's Aquaman as a manatee, because we needed this in our lives. Yes, we did.
on a team. Aquaman a T wasn't enough. We had to pun it one pun further. Aquaman a team.
Oh, man. Goldie the Goldfish along for the ride here. Oh, wow. Marlowe and Goldie will be faced with a challenge even Super Toots might not be able to solve.
Seriously, it's adorable. It's great summer reading for the little superhero fan on your shopping list.
Ben Clanton on the writing and Cassandra Fetterman on the artwork, page 38/217. Here's Tom Taylor's Court Children of the Round Table in full graphic novel by Tom Taylor, as said, and Danielle Di Nucolo. So all ages Tom Taylor reading here on page 39/218. Do check it out. Okay. So this is something special here. I did not know that they were doing this, and I'm glad they are. DC Marvel, The Cosmic Kiss Caper, and Other Stories. Brand new cover art by Jim Chung and Lee Weeks. Wrap this all-star collection of some of the most amazing team-ups fans could ever imagine. Batman and Deadpool share a mind-bending adventure. Clark Kent and Peter Parker chase the same scoop, but it's Superman and Spider-Man who need to save the day. Plus, John Constantine / Doctor Strange, Lois Lane and Mary Jane, Nightwing, Wolverine, Power Girl and the Punisher, Harley Quinn and Hulk, Static and Ms. Marvel, Pa Kent, Uncle Ben, Jimmy Olsen and Carnage. That was the best of the bunch, by the way. It's hilarious. Matt Fraction got to write Jimmy again. It's fantastic. But
there's like multiple chef's kisses.
Oh, yes. So this collects Batman, Deadpool, Superman, Spider-Man, and the first ever print version of the vertical scroll DC Comics Flash Fantastic Four and Supergirl Blade. So this collects all the DC printed crossovers between DC and Marvel here in one collection.
I guess we'll get to the Marvel printed ones in the Marvel catalog.
I'm sure we shall. Yep. And this is on page 40/219. And then, because it's totally done, no, it's not. Hatoosh gets its first collection here as we collect 158 through 163 of the not even close to finished Hatoosh. We still have at least 6 more issues. We'll get to it eventually, but Jeff Loeb, Jim Lee, Scott Williams, if you want to check out the half-finished story, here's the first collection.
Right. If you've been trade waiting, at least you don't have to trade wait until the whole thing's done to read the first half of the story.
Yeah, you don't have to wait for Hathreesh, which will happen eventually. Raphael Grandpa's Gargoyle of Gotham gets the deluxe edition treatment here. And frankly, if anything deserves it, it's this. This is one of the most beautiful Batman drawn comics I've seen in a while. When it was coming out, it was jaw-dropping how beautiful it is. And now it gets the full deluxe edition here, all 4 issues of Raphael Grandpa's Gargoyle of Gotham available in hardcover on page 42/221. All right. Dark Knight Returns, for any of you who don't own an edition of it, gets a 2026 edition. Frank Miller, Klaus Janson. Good for comics or bad for comics? You decide. As it sure did change comics when it did come out. And some for good, some for bad. But what are you going to do? It itself is a wonderful comic. A lot of people got the wrong idea after it. But, that's... Yeah, Frank Miller, Klaus Johnson, 2026 edition of that, and the deluxe edition of Dark Knight Returns is also available there on page 44/223.
So you got a hardcover, you got a softcover.
Yep.
Oh, and by the by, that DC Marvel crossover collection we were talking about a few pages ago is also available in both hardcover and softcover simultaneously.
Very good. Yeah, very, very, very good. Always happy to see that. Yep. Don't have to wait for the softcover. Harley and Ivy, Life and Crimes by Erica Henderson gets its 6-issue trade treatment here, as does the deluxe edition of Volume 1 of The Little Engine That Could of DC Comics, Poison Ivy, G. Will Wilson, Marcio Takara, and Atagun Ilhan are the minds behind this. Collects the first 12 issues of this Poison Ivy run, along with Batman 124 and Gotham City Villains Giant issue 1 thrown in there as well. All that on page 45/224. Green Lantern Corps Volume 2 New World Order, including stories from DCKO, available, as well as Green Lantern Corps Recharge, the famous Jeff Johns, Dave Gibbons restart of the Green Lantern Corps, reprinted in 2026 edition there on page 47/226. Excellent art by Patrick Gleason along with that. Ooh. DC Finest brings us The Demon Lives Again and Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 2. So this is the one that's putting it all in order. Again, they did this with Part 1. They're doing the same here with Part 2. This is going to collect DC Comics Presents issues 86 and 95, Infinity Inc. 20-22, Infinity Inc. Annual number 1, New Teen Titans 13-14, Swamp Thing 44-46, Wonder Woman 328-329, Legends of the DC Universe Crisis on Infinite Earths number 1, then issue 5 of Crisis on Infinite Earths, All-Star Squadron 53-56, and Superman issue 413. That all look in order to you, Murd?
Yeah, well, I recognize that it seems an odd move to slip in Legends of the DC Universe Crisis special right before Crisis number 5, since it was published, 10 years later, but
right.
it was supposed to take place between issues 4 and 5.
Yep. Well, then I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. If it's not in publishing order, it's in reading order, after all.
Yes, it is. Yep. And on that same page, we also get The Ballad of Harley Quinn by Carl Kessel, Judd Winnick, and Paul D. Story. A whole bunch of Harley Quinn stories all the way from issue 9 to 25. Also, Harley Quinn, Our World's at War, thrown in for good measure. And Harley and Ivy, Love on the Lam, and Gotham Girls 1-5. The well-regarded Gotham Girls.
We are talking issues of the very first Harley Quinn ongoing from the early 2000s, as witnessed by, Carl Kiesel and the Dodsons bylines being in there.
Yep. I remember, it's hard to find these days, but there was a very short-lived Gotham Girls webisode series that had animated tales of the Gotham Girls. Kind of in a Bruce Timm style, but wasn't quite in their universe, but kind of like universe adjacent. And I'd love to see if those are still on the internet somewhere in any form. But
probably
for a while. Yep. Page 48/227 for that. And Fables, No More Happily Ever After, the DC Compact Comics edition. This collects issues 1 through 10 of the No More Happily Ever After version of Fables. So Bill Willingham, Mark Buckingham, Len Medina, Steve Lealoa, and others involved with this Fables here. Page 49/228. And, back in print, the 2027 edition. I think that might be a typo. Oh, no, never mind. It's coming out in January of next year.
There you go.
Well, then, thanks for making me feel like this year's almost over when it's only May. But Absolute Why the Last Man Volume 1 gets a 2027 edition, way early solicited here by BKV, Piaguera, Jose Marzon Jr., and Paul Chadwick. This is a giant size edition of Why the Last Man, one of the greatest stories to come out of Vertigo, and I'm happy to see it get the Vertigo logo again now that Vertigo is a thing. But yeah, it's back in print, so get yourself the Absolute edition just in time for next year.
Wow, only $9.99 for a thing that size?
Hold on,
that could be a typo.
Okay, wait a minute. 280 pages. 1 second. Let me read the description here. Presented here as a stunning episode. The first of 3 volumes collects issues 1 through 18. Yeah, that should not be $9.99.
Well, if it were, but I don't think we're that lucky.
Considering that Volume 2 of League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, the Absolute Edition, is $100, I'm gonna guess they forgot a 9.
Yeah, that's more in the ballpark.
Yeah, and we're gonna start seeing things be straight up $100 rather than $99.99 more often because of the quote unquote penny shortage now that they're no longer producing pennies. So I think the whole, 2 easy payments of $19.99 are going to stop being a thing. Like, we're going to probably see things a lot more round in the future.
Well, when we're dealing with, material goods that might be bought over the counter.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And Batman Killing Time.
Actually, a couple of things on page 51, up there at the top, yeah. Batman City of Madness. This collects a 3-issue oversized miniseries by a guy named Christian Ward. He's the one who was responsible for kind of that tripped-out, psychedelically colored outer space adaptation of the Odyssey a couple of years ago from Image called ODY-C, Odyssey.
Yep.
Here's him doing a story about Batman, and it involves the Court of Owls and kind of a subliminal twisted mirror version of Gotham that exists underground, and Batman kind of has to work with the Court of Owls in order to suppress it. Yeah, weird story. It's Black Label, and it's collected in softcover for the first time.
Okay.
I think I have to give that a shot. And then you can scroll down to this oft-overlooked Tom King gem.
Yep.
It's called Batman Killing Time. It collects a miniseries of the same name by Tom King and David Marquez, and it's a chance for Tom to just have some quick, action figure fun time with various Batman villains. And the title is kind of a clue to which villain is most to blame for the events of the story. It's also one of a couple of different times when Tom, killed me in effigy. He kind of has a habit of taking friends of his, podcasters and whatnot, and naming characters after them and then killing them in horrible ways.
Excellent. So if you want to see Adam Murdo killed, no. But it does happen in these pages, so do check it out there on page 230/51. And 100 Bullets Book 5 is available as 100 Bullets comes back. And then there's an Absolute Power omnibus. So any of you folks who were looking to get the full story of Absolute Power, which managed to mean a lot in Mark Waid's DC of today, that's available there on page 52/231. What happens when Amanda Waller gets too much power? That's basically what happens here in Absolute Power, the omnibus. All right. See if anything else catches our eye before we wrap it up here on DC. The Meg Cabot, Kara McGee, Black Canary series gets a new graphic novel edition here on page 54. And on that same page is the Silver Age Omnibus Volume 2 of Superman, with a whole bunch of Jerry Siegel and Robert Bernstein issues, along with Kurt Swan, Al Plastino, Wade Boring, and others on the artwork chores. Collects Superman issues 138 through 153, as well as Action Comics 266 to 288. And Bizarro is involved with some of the stories in this very Silver Age omnibus.
And clearly Titano was present too. Gotta love some King Kong ripoff with Kryptonite Vision.
Of course. Page 54/233. The DC Universe by Keith Giffen is a collection that Shane will probably be buying. But Keith Giffen and Paul Levitz are the writers here. Artwork by Keith Giffen himself, along with Kevin Maguire, Simon Beasley, and others. This collects a whole bunch of different Keith Giffen stories from over the years with multiple of his favorite collaborators.
Yeah, just kind of randomly cherry picking from a bunch of different Giffen food groups. So it's not like a collection of all the Ambush Bug stuff. It's just like the first miniseries. But there's a little bit of Legion in there. There's some Justice League. There's some Lobo. There's a story he did for the Big Book of Urban Legends, which I think takes us back to the Paradox Press days. And for the first time anywhere, one of the first DC comics I ever bought back in the fall of 1992, the Heckler miniseries. Numbers 1 through 6.
Wow.
Restored in full color.
Oh my. Wow. I have never even heard of the Heckler. Okay.
The first issue was really pretty funny. It kind of went downhill from there, but gave me a good enough laugh that I bought the other 5.
All right.
And this was back when I wasn't collecting DC yet.
I'm gonna try to get a big cover of at least one of the Heckler issues here to share just for a moment so people can see what it looks like. Here we are. Okay. Change the share for a minute, and bada boom. Yep, that is the Heckler for you right there. Yeah,
It was swallowed by a giant monster named, if I'm remembering correctly, Flying Buttress.
Oh,
About to
wow.
learn how it got that name.
Okay, go figure. All right, and Unwritten gets a Compendium 2 for any of you Unwritten fans who want it in a giant size version there, as well as House of Secrets getting a Bronze Age omnibus by luminaries like Jerry Conway, Len Wein, Marv Wolfman, and others, along with Bernie Wrightson, Alex Toth, Jim Aparo, and tons of others thrown in there as well. That's on page 234/55, and that concludes DC. And on we go to Marvel, baby, Marvel. A couple of interesting things this month from Marvel. Starting things off with DNX. So this is written by Jed MacKay, with artwork by Federico Vicentini. And any of you who thought that we were just going to have good Beasts now, well, I got news for you. No. So I was very happy near the end of the whole House of X era that Bad Beast kind of went bye-bye. He died, and in his place was a earlier version of Beast around the era of his Avengers time that was, nicer to be around than the version of the Beast that we've gotten in the past couple of years.
Okay, now, this Bad Beast, this is not Age of Apocalypse Beast?
No.
This is Earth 616 Hank McCoy, who has gone terribly wrong somehow.
Yes, this is 616 Beast. It wasn't a short time coming, because even during, you just brought up the Bendis era of the X-Men as an example. During that time, he brought them to the future without actually asking everybody first if it was a good idea. And it was kind of a sign there that if Beast was not given proper checks, he may wind up going a little bit off the deep end. And this is unfortunately where we are now. So this white Beast is the bad Beast, and the blue Beast is the good Beast. So that's kind of where we are in this particular moment.
All right, but we have both of them running around now, though.
Yes, we have both of them running around. So the X-Men and 3K, each steered by an original heir of Xavier, each with their own vision for the mutant people, each at one another's throats. Cyclops and the Chairman, that's what White Beast is going by, both experienced the future of the Age of Revelation and came home with a renewed mission. The X-Men to prevent that future. 3K to own it. While the X-Men seek out the Fantastic Four to help save one of their own, the White Beast begins his plan to unleash the X-Virus in a major population area. Evolution is contagious. In this very first issue of DNX by Jed MacKay and Federico Vicentini. So we'll see where this goes.
Mm-hmm. So here you have your big summer X crossover.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And this wraparound here, very, very reminiscent to X-Men #1 by Jim Lee. Only instead of fighting Magneto, they are fighting Beast.
Oh, yeah, I see. Thought that looked familiar.
Yep. That they're on page 1 of the catalog, and there's an assload of variants to go along with it, as to be expected. Meanwhile, Captain America issue 13 by Mr. Zdarsky with Ton Lima. Captain America, Hell's Angel. Victor Von Doom has captured the soul of Captain America, dragging him to an unfamiliar battlefield to use him as an unwilling weapon. As Steve Rogers struggles to survive in a world he doesn't understand, the world he left behind needs him more than ever. And Armageddon draws ever closer.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of which, there's your big Summer Avengers crossover.
Mm-hmm.
Issue number 2 of it, Avengers Armageddon number 2 of 5. Basic plot seems to be Red Hulk is angry and breaking things. Avengers know like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You're going down, Thunderbolt Ross, and somehow Wolverine is once again in 2 places. So he'll be dealing with the X-Men situation, while on weekends he'll be over at the Avengers Mansion helping them out with things. So that's just the way that's going to roll there on page 7 and 8 here. Betrayal in the shadows. One night, one murder, too many secrets. At an exclusive mass gala at the legendary Hellfire Club, mutant power brokers gather under a veil of secrecy until is murdered and chaos erupts. With identities hidden, suspicion turns the party into a tense whodunit as alliances break down and clues reveal a deeper conspiracy. The X-Men's Wolverine and Jubilee race to uncover the truth, navigating shifting allegiances, illusionary doubles, and sabotage security, only to discover the murderer was orchestrated by to prevent reckless plans from endangering mutant kind. When the dust settles, someone stands transformed. Its secret is intact as Logan and Jubilee grapple with whether to reveal the truth. A thrilling mystery of deception, power, and betrayal brings us X-Men, the Hellfire Murder.
Have they ever had one of these things when someone didn't die?
No. They should really stop holding them. It's not good. It's not good.
They just like dressing up too much.
They do, yeah. And this one's going to have Saladin Ahmed, Jed McKay, Gail Simone, Eve Ewing, Erica Schultz, basically everybody else involved with the X-Men are going to be over at the Hellfire Murder here, along with artwork by Tony Daniel, Luciano Vecchio, Federica Mancini, and more. This sounds like a lot of fun, and this is probably, of the 2 X-Men things, the things that I'm the most looking forward to. Got to love a nice locker room murder there. Page 11 for that. And how about this?
Challenges of Doom. Mr. Fantastic number 1.
Yep.
All right. I'm not sure whether this is a mini-series or what, but it says it's an epic series, and it's going to be released on a bi-monthly schedule, so we know it's not just a one-shot, revealing pivotal confrontations between Doctor Doom and Marvel's greatest heroes, and where else would they start but Richards. Dive into the intense rivalry between Doom and Mr. Fantastic as young Victor Von Doom faces Reed Richards in a battle of minds. Discover the secrets that ignite their legendary feud and the fateful events leading to Doom's transformation. Blah, blah, blah. This bi-monthly series is packed with drama, suspense, and the relentless pursuit of power, spotlighting the true challenges that test Doom's genius and resolve. So, this is going to be writer Al Ewing, who I trust more than almost anybody else writing today to do with a project of this kind, and artist Mike Henderson taking Doom and throwing him up against a variety of walls here, just playing him up against a variety of different Marvel antagonists to tease out different aspects of his character in each confrontation.
Yep.
Sounds like quality stuff.
Yes, it does. And Al Ewing certainly is a man who can write Doom. So let's check that out there on page 12.
I think you can also basically trust him to know the history involved, too.
Oh, most definitely. Yep. 200, speaking of Mr. Ewing, 260 issues of Venom now, with Carlos Gomez on the artwork chores for said Venom book. Congrats on 260 issues now of Venom there on page 16. Al Ewing again, Queen in Black Hela, as the Queen takes her throne, and Thor's looking a lot more Thor-y on that cover. So either he got the hammer back, or this is somehow timey-wimey, but we'll find that out.
I'm thinking flashback.
I'm guessing, yeah, because he's looking a little too Thor-y for my liking there, considering what's going on. So yeah, Queen in Black Hela #1, Al Ewing, Carlos Magno, page 18, and the Defenders, Queen and Light Defenders of Light and Dark. Not quite the Defenders, but a Defenders,
and also another Defenders. It's 2 squads.
Yeah. On the next page, there we get Queen in Black Venom Unchained by Charles Soule, and Juan Ramirez. So Eddie Brock is imprisoned after a failed bond with Carnage, and the Queen of Black is coming. 3-issue mini there, starting off on page 19. And then for something completely different on page 20, Marvel Swimsuit Special, brand new Beach Day #1. The most important comic to come out of Marvel in years, I must say.
I do feel like I'm back in 1993.
Yep.
I'm kind of happy that DC is doing the same thing.
Yes. Yep.
For symmetry's sake.
And I appreciate that it still comes with a bonus digital content cover included with this particular one here. So get your digital copy of this along with your physical if you're buying a physical. And a whole bunch of different writers and artists involved with this swimsuit special, including Cody Ziegler, artwork by Carmen Carnero, and more. So do check it out there on page 20. And for the Raffs out there, Godzilla ain't done with the Marvel Universe yet, as Godzilla Conquers the Multiverse, #1 of 5, starts off here with Jerry Duggan and Javier Garrón involved. The Giuseppe Camuncolo cover of a Godzilla Wolverine is kind of the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. That's just beautiful. An unholy alliance between Null and Godzilla conquers Universe 616, and now Doom, Spider-Man, Kang, Emma Frost, Ghost Rider, The Punisher, Man-Thing, and others stand on the edge of annihilation when Doomstot rips across dimensions to capture a kaiju capable of stopping the King of the Monsters. The team collides with Mecha Fiends, multiversal kaiju, and a deadly red skull and adamantium armor. But as universes burn, an unexpected ally may hold the key to survival. I hope it's Godzuki, a bombastic continuity-shaking launch that shreds the multiverse in true kaiju-crushing fashion. Yes. Love it. Keep doing it on page 22 there. And then Godspeed Jerry Conway, Amazing Spider-Man #129 gets the facsimile edition. This is not the first time they put it into print, but it gets itself a new facsimile printing here. Jerry Conway and Ross Andrews, Amazing Spider-Man 129, in time for the upcoming Spider-Man Brand New Day movie, which will feature the Punisher, but also honoring the one and only Jerry Conway. That's there on page 24. And speaking of Punisher, Dan Abnett brings us a 5-issue miniseries, Punisher versus Spider-Man, with artwork by Matteo Delafonte as well. Yep.
It's a little more street level than the stuff he usually puts to paper.
Certainly, although he did do Punisher Year 1 back in the day, so it's not like it's first run at Punisher. But yes, he's much more cosmic these days than anything else. Join us as now for a trip to the days of their earliest encounters with returning fan favorite writer Dan Abnett, brought together by happenstance and forced to stay that way by an ally from Frank Castle's past in need. Will the web slinger and gunslinger be able to begrudgingly set aside their differences before they finally find themselves at one another's throats? So 5-issue mini there, starting off on page 26. And here's some artwork. And that's familiar.
Yeah, I think we just saw it a couple of pages ago.
Yes, we did. But now it's been redrawn. And then the third of 10 issues of Doom Quest. Alex Ross, this is the best cover you've ever made.
Just keeps on topping himself.
Doom crossing the Delaware, baby. Hell yeah.
Yeah, just in time for the sesquicentennial, too. Or semi-quincentennial, that is.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Just the description itself is just making me laugh.
Doom has escaped the Titanic and now finds himself in a strange new body in a strange new world, America at the start of the Revolutionary War.
All right. See, he didn't just draw that because he wanted to. It's also story relevant. Page 29 for Doom Quest, otherwise known as Quantum Doom Crest Leap. Oh boy.
Yeah.
And then page 32, a new 5-issue mini of Gambit by the one and only Chris Claremont.
Yep, Gambit Wanted, with art by Robert Gill, and it's set in the past, so don't worry, this is wedged comfortably into a past period of continuity, and it answers a couple of questions about exactly how the Raging Cajun joined the X-Men in the first place, way back there in the neighborhood of his first appearance.
Okay. Well, Chris Claremont has the forever contract with Marvel and can write whatever he wants. And this is most definitely going to be another one of those moments here, and it should be a lot of fun. So 5-issue mini on page 32.
It's going to have Gambit up against a fan-favorite Marvel villain. We're not being told which one yet, but
all right.
Sure to be a spectacle, whatever it is.
I'm sure. Page 36 has some very fun what-ifs. Justin Ireland and David Messina bring us What If Jessica Jones, including What If Jessica Jones was bitten by the radioactive spider, as it was previously established that Jessica Jones went to high school with Peter Parker. So teenage superhero sensation Spider-Girl is retired. Surly and eternally miffed bartender Jessica Jones wants nothing more than to leave that part of her life and the traumas that came with it firmly behind her. But when a ghost from her past comes back to haunt her, she finds herself unable to leave well enough alone. Has the Green Goblin returned? And if so, is an out-of-shape ex-superhero enough to stop him? So we get a very, very different Spider-Girl here, because this one's Jessica Jones.
And I'm kind of glad that we're being told the story after the fact, so we don't have to go through her origin story. She's already retired by the time we catch up with her.
Yep.
That's a good approach.
I agree.
And then on that same page, what if Kraven survived his last hunt? And it's a story told by the man who has more right than anyone else to tell it, J.M. DeMatteis, who wrote the original Kraven's last hunt story. Art is by Ildere Sinar. And yeah, Kraven still alive, still crazy, still running around in Spider-Man's black suit.
Yep.
So here's DeMatteis to give us an alternate ending to his own story.
Excellent. Love it when they do that. Page 36 for that. And then, what if Secret Wars #1? Secret Wars, the Hickman Secret Wars. Just want to point that out. What if the Ultimate Universe survived the Secret Wars? So starring Peter Parker as he's forced to survive in a not-so-friendly neighborhood after losing everything. What becomes of the original Ultimate Universe in a post-Secret Wars landscape? How did they defeat the Beyonder? And who does Spider-Man become after losing everything? This is Alex Packnadel and art by the one and only Kafu in this particular What If issue. These are some really cool concepts they're throwing out here.
Yeah, so some of the What If one-shots they've been cranking out over the last few years have been a little conceptually weak, but I like these.
Yep, definitely. Page 37 for that. And then most importantly, Jeff the Land Shark Superstar #1 of 5, Kelly Thompson. It's Jeff, and he's back. What else do you need to know? I'm going to continue now. Page 38.
Please do.
Fifth and final issue of Moonstar by Ashley Allen and Eduardo Adino. And then on the next page, the 5th issue of X-Men United by Eve Ewing and Tiago Palma with the Blue Beast. And this one here on page 41. And X-Men issue 33 by Jed McKay. The X-Men race against time in order to prevent a gravimetric disaster, as a subject of their rescue mission has turned into a bomb that must be defused. But the X-Men have a temporarily revitalized Magneto on their side, even if his own strength dwindles with every tick of the clock. So that's been one of the going trends in the X-Men issues here, is that Magneto is dealing kind of with a mutant version of ALS, that has left him in a wheelchair and unable to properly utilize his powers. And whether or not they're going to find a final cure to that, we'll see. But for now, he seems to have gotten his abilities back temporarily here on page 42 here in X-Men issue 33. And X-Men 34, Kane Marco issue. So nothing wrong with that.
Certainly not.
Yep. How does the Juggernaut stay a hero? And we will find that out here. And luckily, it's being written by Jed McKay and not Chuck Austin. So, page 43.
Amen, brother.
Mm-hmm.
And then in July's issues of Uncanny X-Men by Gail Simone and Roger Antonio, Aliens.
They came from beyond! Woo!
Killers from space! The design of these covers is terrific. It screams schlocky 50s sci-fi movies. But and you also gotta love the designs of the alien war armor as kicked out by cover artist Luciano Vecchio.
Oh, yeah.
They look like Alan Davis designs.
They do, actually. Great pull there, yeah.
Yeah, it's not much higher praise I can give than that.
Yep. Well, that's issue 31 and 32 here on page 44 and 45 for the invasion storyline. Ooh. Saladin Ahmed bringing us some tasky Wolverine action in Wolverine issue 23, bub.
Wolverine versus Taskmaster is a fight that I would read, and I probably would if they weren't asking me to pay $4.99 for it.
Agreed entirely. I will read it when it's on Marvel Unlimited in about 2 or 3 months. So there you go. Page 46 for that.
Oh, and on page 47, you got an Alpha Flight appearance.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And some... oh, no, that's not She-Hulk. I thought for a second there, I thought it was She-Hulk. But then, like, those ears are too pointy, so that can't possibly be the case. All right.
I'm not sure what to say. Probably some form of Skrull? Could be Elijah Laserfist. I don't know.
Wow. If it is Elijah, that's a pull. I haven't thought of her since 1996.
Yeah, it's been a while, but yeah, she did used to grow wings like that occasionally. I seem to recall.
Yep. Well, page 47, you will find more about that. Also, Generation X-23 reaches its 6th issue. X-Numbers assemble as the next generation of X-Numbers assemble out in the wider world, but their first mission under Laura Kinney's leadership just may be their last. Ba-ba-bum. That's all on page 48. And on page 49, the second of 5 issues of the Marvel Retro Pick of X-Men Outback, as Chaos in the Outback. With the world believing them dead, the X-Men have relocated to the Reavers' abandoned headquarters. When an old Reaver security system is set off, the team must protect themselves from their own home. With the X-Men down, can Wolverine save them? Yes, the answer is yes, but find that out on page 50. And the second issue of Steve Fox and Salva Espin's X-Men 97, which I have renamed Season 1.5 because it is not Season 2, but either way, it's issue 2 of 5 of what they're calling Season 2. So there you go. Cable on the hunt here on page 51.
You would sort of expect Season 2 of X-Men 97 to be called X-Men 98, wouldn't you?
You would, but instead, X-Men 97, Season 2. So...
Coming soon to Disney Plus?
Coming soon to Disney Plus. Yep. The trailer actually just got released today. And it's weirdly enough premiering. You'll love this at the Tribeca Film Festival. The first two episodes of X-Men 97 will be premiering at the Tribeca Film Festival, and then shortly thereafter, like maybe a week or two after, it'll be on Disney Plus.
I mean, it's a good show, but
I know.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
On page 52, part of Joe Kelly's latest run on Amazing Spider-Man, he's trying to revamp the Vulture again.
Yep. Yeah.
It's like a mass of feathers and tool steel talons.
Yep. Vulturely assured destruction. That's on page 30. Amazing Spider-Man issue 32, aka 996. And then we finally get ourselves... Oh, wait, no, we don't. It's issue 997. But it sure does say issue 1000 up there to confuse you.
But see, on the facing page, it says Countdown to.
Oh, God.
Countdown to issue number 1000.
That's it. You're out. You're fired. Cover treatment, terrible. Absolutely terrible. But issue 33 is Joe Kelly and Ed McGuinness. When an old foe resurfaces, Spider-Man gets an assist from damage control. Don't they usually clean up after the fight?
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
weren't they kind of irredeemably vilified by the events of Civil War?
Yeah, that too. But they're still around, I guess.
I guess nobody's irredeemable in comics, just like nobody ever stays dead.
That is true. Learn more about Peter's mystery cousin and walk the road to Amazing Spider-Man issue 1000 there on page 53. And the third issue of 5 of Dan Slott, Marcus Toe, and Marcos Martin's Spectacular Spider-Man Brand New Day. If you want more of it, buy it on page 55. Hey everybody, it's Simby.
It's me, not Karen.
Simby goes solo. Jacob Chabot, Mackenzie, Cadenhead, and Joe Kelly on the writing chores there. Pepe Larraz on the artwork. Page 57. It's Simby. That's all you need to know.
It's cute. It might be funny, but it's $5.99 for a 32-page comic. I am in no way interested.
Yep. I am interested in facsimile editions, and this is the facsimile of issue 14 of Amazing Spider-Man by Lee and Ditko here, with an appearance by the Hulk, and it's a battle between Green Goblin and Spider-Man in the main issue.
In fact, it's the first appearance of the Green Goblin.
Well, there you go.
Notice the rocket-powered broomstick he's riding instead of the familiar bat rider.
Yes. The very phallic broomstick that he luckily no longer had.
Right between his legs.
Mm-hmm.
And they continue to facsimilate the original Silver Surfer ongoing. Issue number 3 just came out a week or two ago, featuring the first appearance of Mephisto, and now we're up to number 5, the Silver Surfer versus the Stranger.
Ooh. And we are up to issue 3 of JLA Avengers in facsimile. This is Marvel's turn to publish an issue. So here on page 59, we get JLA Avengers issue 3 with the wonderful wraparound cover that this issue brought us, and I love it to pieces.
Spent a long time thinking about that cover once.
Yes, you did. Yep. And check the archives for that. But I also love that just like the last one of these type of covers that we talked about on this very show, there were a couple of last second changes and redraws that had to happen because costumes weren't quite the way they were supposed to be and whatnot.
That is true.
Yep. So do check out that facsimile there on page 59. Here's Mortal Thor and Immortal Thor on the same cover. So let's see where this goes. Sigurd Jarlson has love, friendship, and a human soul. The man called Blake has none of these, and he has the one thing his enemy doesn't. Donald Blake knows exactly who and what he is, and he's ready to tell Sigurd everything. Somewhere in the city, a man with a hammer is learning the truth. So we're finally getting there with this story here and getting the two halves of Thor back together on page 62.
And just before everything really hits the fan, we have a little Tales of Asgard interlude. Jumping into the future for a tale of a future son of Thor called Mani.
Okay. Interesting. Is this a Son of Thor that we've seen before, or is this the first appearance?
I think that we have.
Okay, got it. All right, page 63 for that. And then Marvel Zero hits. Get a taste of what's to come from this year's biggest stories and events. The Road to Amazing Spider-Man 1000 takes a big turn here as fate bears down on Peter Parker. The Queen in Black has been coordinated. And Mary Jane Watson as Venom is not just ready for her. The eldest has taken control of the Hulk. Heroes in the Marvel Universe assemble to take on Red Hulk. Armageddon. It's basically the giant-ass teaser that you would expect for the summer, only it's not free. Because honestly, this should be.
Well, it was. If you check the fine print, this is just collecting a couple of their free comic book day things, putting them together in one volume and charging $5 for them.
Wow. Middle fingers up, ladies and gentlemen, because this is redonkulous. Man. Okay.
Bad form, Marvel. Bad form.
All right. Page 64, don't buy that. All right. And down we go. Further, Iron Man issue 7 by Joshua Williamson. And finally, War Machine returns. I've been wondering where the hell Rhodey was. And he was here, apparently, waiting to come back.
He was just waiting for that Marvel swimsuit special to come out.
Yep.
Give him the idea that the early 90s are back, and it's time for him to pop out of his hole and see if he sees his shadow.
Yep. I kind of dig the streamlined War Machine outfit here. Very reminiscent of like 80s Iron Man, only the monotone in colors. So yeah, not bad.
Reminds me precisely of the armor that Tony Stark started wearing at exactly the same time Rhodey first became War Machine.
Yep. Yes, indeed. Page 69 for that. Von Randall on the artwork chores as well. And Blade draws near in Mark Spector Moon Knight issue 6. So we get a standoff between two people who are very familiar with each other, Moon Knight and Blade. They're on page 71 by Jed McKay.
And we must join Raph in bemoaning Imperial Guardians on page 72.
Mm-hmm.
What is now the final issue of the series, number 5. The Imperial Guardians meet Marvel UK character Death's Head, the first.
Man. Come on, guys. You canceled this. How dare you? How dare you?
I know.
Yeah.
And Raph would bewail this far more eloquently than we can, but I'm glad Dan Abnett is throwing Death's Head in here. It's a British character, a British creator. There's poetry in that.
Page 72 for that, with a great cover by Sean Isaac. And the 5th and final issue of Wonder Man, which could have been also an ongoing, but it's not. 5th and final there of Jerry Duggan and Phil Noto, once again on page 72. But at least we get the first issue of this.
Yep, this is an anniversary one-shot, they're calling it. Rocket Raccoon, Rocket Rewind. Mm-hmm. And they're cheating a little bit here, because they're dating back to not the first appearance of the Rocket Raccoon we know, but kind of a single throwaway appearance of a very similar sort of proto-Rocket Raccoon character who showed up in an issue of one of Marvel's black and white magazines, Marvel Preview, back in the summer of '76. And so going from that, they're calling this the 50th anniversary of Rocket Raccoon.
Okay.
So we've got here in this issue some stories written by J.M. DeMatteis, Christos N. Gage, Mackenzie Cadenhead, with art by Sean McManus, Todd Knock, and Enid Balam. And they're also reprinting that sort of one-off story from Marvel Preview that I just mentioned, an old black and white tale of a very different reality. Kind of like how the original 70s Star-Lord is kind of considered to be an alternate reality or parallel universe version of the Star-Lord we know nowadays.
Sure.
So this proto-Rocket, who is known as Rocky Raccoon, that's why the solicit mentions a meeting between Rocket and Rocky.
Nice.
So it's a reprint of that first story featuring this proto-Rocket Raccoon character created by Bill Mantlo and Keith Giffen. Before the Rocket that we know first popped up in the pages of Incredible Hulk by Bill Mantlo, and later spun off into his own miniseries.
I'm immediately thrown back to the Turtles Forever movie from the mid 2000s, where the different versions of the Turtles meet up, and then eventually they wind up in the black and white Turtles era, and they're monologuing, and they're like, God, why do these guys keep talking to themselves like that? It's crazy. I hope we get action like that with Rocket Raccoon and Rocky Raccoon. Like, it's got to be zany.
Yeah, I think they owe it to Mantlo and Giffen, for that matter, to take that approach.
Yep.
There's also, the cover is by our old friend Ryan Stegman, variant cover by David Baldeón, whose work I love, and another variant by the very appropriate Mike Mignola.
Excellent.
Because he was the one who drew Rocket's original miniseries back in the 80s.
Fantastic. Page 73 for that. And then issue 5 of this Alias Red Band story by Sam Humphries and Geraldo Borges. So there will be a trade incoming for this return to Jessica Jones Alias, as Jessica takes on Typhoid Mary in this, with a excellent cover by David Mack. Predator versus Planet of the Apes. It's like, we have the rights to these properties? Oh, maybe we should do something with them now. Why not?
Can't think of a reason.
Yep.
It's written by Greg Pak, so it's probably going to be readable.
Mm-hmm.
And art by Alan Robinson. And I would probably be throwing this into my card, except it's another one of those cases of Marvel trying to charge us $6 for a 32-page comic, and I'm just not going to do that.
I agree entirely. The variant cover by Chris Campana in the style of an old school poster for a movie is the best cover. But yeah, I ain't paying $6 for this. No way.
Yeah, I might even do $4.99, but not that. Not from the big two anyway.
Yeah. Page 76 for that. And then the fifth and final issue of Star Wars Shadow of Maul comes out this month. That's on page 78. And then Star Wars Rogue One Saw Gerrera by Mark Bernardine with artwork by Gabriel Guzman witnessed the act of revolution that was too much for the rebellion. After proving himself in the Clone Wars, Saw Gerrera was a soldier for the cause of freedom and was willing to do anything to secure it, including leading a mission deep into Imperial territory. At stake, information that would provide a tactical advantage that could shift the balance of power in the rebels' favor. But is the price to be paid for that information too high? Find that out here in Star Wars Rogue One, Saw Gerrera, on page 79.
I am about halfway through season 2 of Andor, and I'm really learning to appreciate this character. I'm in the right mood for a Saw Solo story.
Excellent. I just finished The Mandalorian because we're going to go see the movie probably sometime this weekend. So I very much enjoyed that third season. It was good fun. It was good fun.
Okay, when you see it, let me know if a rewatch of the most recent seasons is necessary.
Yeah, I'm kind of doubting it from what I've seen from the story. Like, it seems kind of standalone, but then again, it could easily prove me wrong. But I'll certainly let you know.
Okay, thanks.
Yep, no problem. Hickman's Avengers time runs out. The Marvel Premiere Collection. With wonderful artwork by Stefano Caselli, Diodato Jr., Mike Mayhew, Valerio Schiti, and Kev Walker is in print here. This collects 35 through 44 of Avengers and New Avengers 24 to 33. That's on page 83 of the catalog here. Some great Avengers stuff right there. A lot of the stuff that basically made its way into the movies started here in a lot of ways.
It's being served up to you in a nice, affordable 6-inch by 9-inch trim size.
Mm-hmm. And then the other half of the trades is right here on page 84. Yep. Marvel DC: The Dead of Night and Other Stories. So this has the Marvel DC Deadpool Batman, Marvel DC Spider-Man Superman, Marvel DC Thor Shazam, the Infinity comic, and Marvel DC It's Jeff Aquaman. Clearly the best of the crossovers of this entire run.
Oh yeah, and there's Jeff right there on the cover.
Yep. I really did appreciate that Thor Shazam Infinity comic, so I'm glad to see that getting published. So page 84 for that.
Yep. I would like to read it, but I don't think I'm going to buy this whole big schmear just to get that story.
Understood, sir. Understood. Speaking of big schmears, X Factor, the original X-Men Omnibus, Volume 3. This is Wheezy's run, along with some Peter David, Chris Claremont, Jim Lee, Will Spartaccio, Fabian Nicieza, Joe Duffy, Scott Lobdell, and more. So this collects issues 51 through 70 of the original X Factor, as well as annuals 5 and 6, and then X Factor Prisoner of Love, Marvel Fanfare issue 50, Uncanny X-Men 262 to 264, 270 to 273, and 278 to 280, and then New Mutants 95 to 97, then material from Fantastic Four annual, New Mutants annual, X-Men annual, X-Force annual, and Marvel Comics Presents 74 and 85 to 92. Whew! That's a lot of shit right there. I'll tell you what, man.
Indeed, that's 1,200 pages of shit.
Damn Skippy. Yep. So X Factor, the original X-Men Omnibus Volume 3, available on page 88. If you really like Cable, these are going to be stories for you to read. You find out how he becomes it.
All right, for you Jessica Drew fans, on the top of page 91, there is a Spider-Woman omnibus collecting pretty much all of her Bronze and Copper Age appearances, all 50 issues of her solo series, her first appearances in Marvel Spotlight, some stuff from Marvel 2-in-1, and even the Avengers story that basically put the character to bed.
Yep. Good stuff.
So it's the whole first phase of her existence in the Marvel Universe in one hardcover volume, under a nifty Joe Sinnott cover.
Very cool. And as we go along, more omnibus action for the Avengers. This one, New Avengers, during the Bendis era. This is volume 3 of those omnibuses, collecting 1 through 34 of the New Avengers, 2010 edition, as well as 16.1. Ah, yes, my favorite, the .1 issues. and Avengers Assemble, an oral history of Earth's mightiest heroes is included in that as well.
Yeah, I remember that.
That's on page 91 there. Get a new printing of Age of Apocalypse, the omnibus. So this collects pretty much everything. We got Uncanny X-Men 320 to 321, X-Men 40 to 41, Cable issue 20, and then we get X-Men Alpha, Amazing X-Men all 4 issues, Astonishing X-Men all 4 issues, Factor X, which they accidentally put Factor number X in the solicit here, 1 through 4, Gambit in the Externals, Generation Next, Weapon X, Excalibur, X-Man, X-Men Omega, Age of Apocalypse The Chosen, and the Ash Can. X-Men Ash Can number 2 from 1995. You want everything, they will give you everything right here.
Even the disposable stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yep. 1,072 pages of comic right there for $125 before discount. This is some good comics right here. Jason Aaron's Thor getting the omnibus treatment, a brand new printing of that. So if you did not check that out the first time it was printed, it's back in print here. Includes Thor God of Thunder, all 25 issues, the 2014 Thor 1 through 8, Thor Annual number 1, Thors 1 through 4, and Mighty Thor 1 through 12. So whole lot of Jason Aaron Thor there, with as many Thors as you could possibly want on page 93. Alien versus Captain America, with the best cover you could possibly have for Alien versus Captain America. We want you.
Cap gets face-hugged.
Yep.
Yep, and this is a story set during the golden age of Cap's career in World War II. And the Red Skull and Baron Strucker are involved, but also there are xenomorphs around. And Frank Thierry cooks up a Marvel Universe grounded backstory for the xenomorphs.
Excellent.
Creating an unexpected tie-in to a pre-existing Marvel Universe alien race. Also, the Howling Commandos are around. So, yep, Golden Age Cap and other Golden Age characters versus aliens. 4 issues worth, and it's $4 cheaper than it would have been if you bought it in single issues.
Hey, go figure. All right. Why not?
I decided I was going to trade weight for that one, so I'm buying this trade.
Most definitely, yeah. How do the face huggers not have anything to do with the Brood? I mean, come on, like you would. It's right there, but all right, we'll figure it out.
Yep, you may be onto something there, actually.
Maybe page 95 right there.
I mean, and obviously the Brood do have something to do with it because they were clearly modeled on the xenomorphs when they showed up in X-Men.
Oh yeah,
Chris loves to point that out, and he is far from wrong.
Oh, definitely. Yep. Ooh, Marvel Black, White, and Blood and Guts. So this collects all 4 issues of that. This was a great series that was put out not too long ago, with stories by Chris Condon, Al Ewing, G. Willow Wilson, Garth Ennis, and others. Pencils by Claire Rowe, Kev Walker, Chris Allen, and others. It's the typical anthology series, but some great grounded stories here from some excellent creators. So page 97 for that. The End 2099 gets its full conclusion here. Steve Orlando and Ibrahim Robertson. I'm sure we'll never get another story set into 2099 now that we've reached its end.
Nope, it's the end. Yep. Oh, but wait, there was also an end back in the 90s.
I know, yeah. Well, how many ends can you possibly have? We'll figure it out here.
At least 2,097 more, I'm guessing.
Exactly, page 100 for that. All right. Spider-Girl Modern Era Epic Collection. DeFalco and Friends. This collects the Amazing Spider-Girl issues 0 through 15. So this was the second of the Spider-Girl runs. And this is technically volume 7 in the Spider-Girl Modern Era Epic Collections. And kind of finishes it out there with the 15-issue Amazing Spider-Girl run. The character that wouldn't die, essentially. It kept getting canceled and then brought back. Page 102.
Yeah, she had some serious groundswell grassroots support.
Yes, she did. Yep. Ooh. Epic collection here. Marvel 2-in-1.
100% in my wheelhouse. Yep, this is number 4 in the Marvel 2-in-1 Epic Collection series. This one is entitled Project Pegasus. Written mostly by Mark Gruenwald, with some help from Ralph Macchio and Marv Wolfman, with art by some guy named George Perez, some other guy named John Byrne, and a bunch of other guys besides. And among other things, this is the series of stories in Marvel 2-in-1 that introduced one of Gruenwald's favorite concepts, Project Pegasus, which is an upstate New York facility that ran tests on superhuman beings, for reasons other than just fighting each other, just trying to find solutions to Earth's energy problems, for example, by seeing how gaining superpowers changes the human physiology and their ability to generate energy, and so on and so forth. It's one of Mark Gruenwald's favorite things that he's stuck in comics. And he returned to it over and over again. So it collects Marvel 2-in-1 number 53 through 74. I'm pretty sure I have all those issues, or damn near all of them.
Right there on page 104. And then Epic Collection Demon in a Bottle, one of the most important stories in Iron Man's history here. Dave Michelini, Bob Layton, and John Romita Jr. are the main forces behind this. So this collects issues 115 through 139 of the Iron Man series. Do check this out if you have not checked it out yet. They're on page 105. One thing you can skip on page 106, Heroes Reborn. Don't do it. Just don't.
It is not necessary.
Yeah. I enjoyed more the very, very would never happen again near the end of Heroes Reborn, when the Marvel Universe joined together with the Wildstorm Universe.
Oh, yes. All those issues number 13.
Yep.
Including Gen 13.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And James Robinson wrote the bulk of those.
He did.
And it was some really great stuff. Way better than all 12 issues of this Heroes Reborn. Yeah. But if you do want to check out that piece of history here, you can probably find it for cheaper than the $54.99 that's being offered here if you just go to the back issue bins. I almost guarantee it. And then to close us out on page, where is it here? Page 109, Jeremy Whitley, a friend of the show, and Steve Fox bring us Strange Tales. This collects Strange Tales 1 through 4, Beastly Buddies, the Infinity comic, issues 1 through 10, and Marvel Chillers 1 through 4 into one trade paperback. If you like your magic side of the Marvel Universe with some ghosts and ghouls thrown in for good measure, then this will be right up your alley here on page 109. That closes out the Marvel catalog. So we go to IDW. And IDW starts off with Hello Kitty and Friends, Hello World, by Mariko Tamaki, with art by Cody Lemieux. She's here. Hello, world. It's Hello Kitty. Welcome one and all to Hello Kitty and her friends' first major swing into the comic book world. This is a huge get by IDW right here. I mean, Hello Kitty continues to be one of the biggest brands in the entire world, and you're going to wind up getting people to buy this on name recognition alone. Not to mention the story itself is by Mariko Tamaki, so that throws it in there. That's probably going to be a fun story.
Right. She is not a nobody. She can write.
Oh, absolutely. And a reminder, Hello Kitty is not a cat. Hello Kitty is a girl. Okay? That is lore. That is canon. I will fight you tooth and nail on that because that's what the creators have said, and I'm going to go ahead and go with that. So why is Hello Kitty also a cat? I don't know, but whatever. They say she's a girl, so we're going to stick with that. So page 2 for Hello Kitty's adventures. I doubt they're going to bring that up at least once during the comic, but Mariko Tamaki, Hello Kitty and Friends, Hello World.
Nope. In the Hello Kitty world, they're not about labels.
Exactly. And then go back into the back catalog of comic timing. As a couple of episodes ago, we got to have Nick Marino on to talk about this very project, and now it is finally launching. So Sonic the Hedgehog X Godzilla, issue 1 here by Nick Marino with wonderful art by Jack Lawrence, brings the worlds of Sonic the Hedgehog and Godzilla together into an epic crossover. This is Godzilla in Sonic's world, not the other way around. So Godzilla is basically going to have a bit of a Sonic flair to him in appearance. And this looks like it's going to be a super fun crossover. And Nick was talking this up as kind of a dream project for him in a lot of ways. So I look forward to checking it out here on page 4. Down we go further into Sonic the Hedgehog Knuckles Anniversary Special by Ian Flynn and Gail Galligan with Aaron Hammerstrom on there. And that's some interesting hairdo for Knuckles there, but it's celebrate years of echidna excellence with the ultimate Knuckles adventure. This collects Sonic the Hedgehog Knuckles 30th Anniversary Special. Of course it does. That's literally what you said it does. Thank you, copy. But yeah, if you're a Knuckles fan, we got some Knuckles for you here on page 6. And then Sonic the Hedgehog gets a 35th Anniversary Special on the next page with not final artwork. Red Shirt's Ghost of the 21st Century by Jerry Duggan and Scott Biancristiano here on page 8. Revenge is a dish best served on time delay. On the Federation's farthest frontier, red shirts don't just die, they're used. When conscripted security grunt Harry Dubert finds contraband hidden inside a fallen comrade's body, he uncovers Section No, a secret Starfleet directorate turning disposable red shirts into assets in a sprawling criminal conspiracy. Teaming up with Lina Taval, an Andorian officer with her own cover agenda, Dubert digs too deep and becomes a target.
Oh, it's really friggin' dark, but it's
yeah,
it's a story that I'm surprised nobody saw prior to this.
Oh yeah, yep, definitely. And Jerry Duggan's definitely the right writer for it. So he'll bring his Deadpool chops to this and more with Red Shirt's Ghosts of the 21st Century here on page 8. And Kelly and Lanzig's Last Starship gets its 9th issue here on page 10, the conclusion to Arc 3 of The Last Starship. The galaxy will never be the same. The Rocketeer Infiltrator, issue 1, by the one and only Gabriel Hardman on story, with artwork by Dean Kotz.
Yeah, I think Gabe's got the right sensibility as artist or writer to tackle a project like this. Mm-hmm. And it looks like it's a Rocketeer Betty Page team up. I don't think they're actually allowed to use her full name, but the character they're calling Betty is pretty clearly modeled on Betty Page.
Yep.
Yeah, if they were going to use Betty Page's full name, they'd have to make this like a co-production with Dynamite or something, who had that license most recently.
More than likely, yeah. Well, do check it out here. Hardman has the writing chops for it, and Rocketeer Infiltrator on page 13. And we're all about special issues this month, as not only is this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles issue 20, it is also the 300th issue altogether of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And Gene Lin Yang, Kevin Eastman, and Tom Waltz are along for the ride, with artwork by Freddie E. Williams II, Ben Bates, Eric Talbot, Chris Allen, Frank Fosco, Jim Lawson, and Dan Duncan. What a milestone here for the Turtles, finally getting their 300th issue after all these years, on page 14. And it's also issue 20.
Look, I say numbering. I
Yep.
love you so much, I hate you. Oh, you can't just keep on going there, Ian. You got to go back. Page 17.
Yep.
Got to give a shout out to my man, Muckman.
Ah, Muckman. Oh, yeah.
And his man, Joe Eyeball. That's right. This issue features not only those guys, but also Scumbug and Worm, who all came out as part of the same wave of Turtles action figures back in 1990. I remember it well.
Wow.
Yeah, this one's scratching just the right nostalgia itch for me. I'm going to be grabbing this issue of TMNT SMA for my very own collection.
Oh, man. You know, it's funny, too. I just watched the whole video on YouTube a couple days ago about the Red Skies seasons of Ninja Turtles, and I'm glad that this series seems to just be completely ignoring that. like, no, we're going to go with the fun Ninja Turtles, not the we're going to make it dark because Batman the Animated Series came out. Yeah.
And we're going to have Red Skies because that happened to Batman, too.
Basically, yeah. Yep. So Saturday Morning Adventures is my bag here, and issue 39 most definitely has the fun to be had on page 17. Further into IDW we go. The Horror of Godzilla, number 1. A terrifying look at Godzilla's first attack in the Kaisei era. So this takes place in Tokyo 1954 as the country begins to look forward towards its post-war future. 2 scientists start an experiment in the Pacific Ocean. It's meant to change everything, and it will. There is only the wrath of Godzilla. And this also features a 1 in 25 cover by Patrick Horvath. But Horror of Godzilla, number 1 here, by Ethan Parker and Griffin Sheridan, with artwork by Tristan Jones.
Mm-hmm. Issue 1 of a 4-issue miniseries, acting as sort of a prequel to this Kaisei era line of Godzilla comics that IDW has been putting out.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And speaking of lines of Godzilla comics that IDW has been putting out, here's the latest in the Godzilla vs. America series. It's a Godzilla vs. San Diego one-shot.
And of course, Comic-Con looms, because why wouldn't it?
Yep. I think most of the others of this series of one-shots have been put together by artists and writers that live in the city that Godzilla is visiting. Mm-hmm. This one might depart from that pattern a bit in that it's Godzilla wrecking Comic-Con International, basically.
Yeah.
It's by various, story by various, art by various, but among the various are Stan Sakai of Usagi Yojimbo, so don't sleep on that, and also Greg and Fake, that pair of pseudonymous sickos who put together the Para-Archie Adventures of the Santos Sisters.
Nice.
I don't know if those guys are from San Diego or not, but I'm hoping they are, because I want these things to continue to be homegrown, to be by talent.
Yep.
But either way, I haven't missed one of these one-shots yet, and I'm certainly not going to miss this one either.
Excellent. Page 27 brings us Godzilla versus San Diego.
I'm sure Brandon, Christopher, and I are still waiting with bated breath for Godzilla to reach Philly.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. You know it. Taking on the giant cheesesteak monster. It's going to happen.
It would be nice if he got there for July of 2026, when the semi-quincentennial's happening. But in fairness, San Diego is also host to Comic-Con International every July, so...
Yeah.
I guess in geek circles that takes precedence.
I guess, yeah. 13 Demons Dead here looks like it could have easily been like a Disney XD show in the era. But Adam Tierney with art by Saspy. This teenage girl has just 1 year to defeat 13 invisible demons without flunking out of high school. That's the general premise here of this one. 13 Demons Dead by Adam Tierney and Saspy on page 30.
Yeah, the character designs do look like they'd be comfortable in the same universe as the Owl House, for example.
Oh, most definitely, yeah. Yep. Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees gets an artist's edition. Story and art, of course, by Patrick Horvath. That's coming out in July here on page 32. It's a nice oversized edition of the Eisner Darling, Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees. And then Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees, Rite of Spring gets its collection, which I will be buying. That's on page 33 there, the sequel series to Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees. And here we are in issue 9 of The Twilight Zone. So here we go. Me. All right. Imagine, if you will, a man caught between light and shadow for so long he cannot even remember his life before. You see, our protagonist in this issue has been in the Twilight Zone much longer than anyone else. A sand diver trapped in a life of repetition. He knows only swimming from the river's top to its bottom for the purpose of building up his village. But is he ready for the day he can rest? Can our protagonist truly leave the Twilight Zone? Love it. This is by Junie Ba.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
The Eisner-nominated Junie Ba.
Mm-hmm. Yep. For The Boy Wonder and Monkey Meat. Love saying the words monkey meat, but yep. This Twilight Zone 9th issue, available on page 39. We go into Top Shelf. Why not? Johnny Boo on the Go, Friends and Enemies by James Kachalka. So if you're looking for some very, very fun, all ages stuff, Johnny Boo is 100% where you're going to find there on page 46. And then in we go to Alien. Zorro's Legacy. Alien has themselves the Zorro license, it appears, or a Zorro license, as I think there's still the other one.
Yeah, he might even be public domain by now. I'm not sure.
That's very possible. Yeah.
Yeah, we just got that Zorro Man of the Dead thing last summer, I think it was.
Yep.
Came out from a different publisher. I think it was Daniel Warren Johnston's work.
Yep.
And that was good fun. And now we have another contemporary Zorro take, this time from Dan Abnett, who's a busy guy lately, and Aaron Lopresti.
Ooh. Yeah, that's some good stuff.
Yep, I will be buying that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Modern day descendant of Zorro in Los Angeles. Interesting. Page 50 for that. Oh, those pages. Oh my God, that looks so good. Love me some Lopresti. And then Alien Books brings us Street Fighter versus Valiant Universe special. This is something we were waiting for? Two iconic entertainment franchises from the 90s unite for the most unexpected... most unexpected. Most definitely. Like, who the hell saw this one coming?
I would have expected in the 90s when Acclaim actually bought Valiant.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, my God. Well... Capcom's got some money around, and Udon's looking for some for some publicity, I'm sure. So this will bring him that. So Tim Seeley and Timmy Heeg with artwork by Alfredo Cardona and Rochio Zuki. It brings together Street Fighter and Valiant. So check it out if you want it there on the famous page 52.
And then on pages 54 and 55, if you prefer a slightly more classic approach to Zorro, we have here, from Alien Books, a hardcover remastered edition of the complete run of Gold Key Zorro comics, published in 1966 and 1967, written by a man whose name time is forgotten, but with art by the great Alex Toth.
Ooh, wow.
Yes. This is, I remember our friend Scott Bradley, who used to go by Kid Benicia on the old CGS forums a long time ago from San Francisco. He was a big collector of Alex Toth art.
Nice.
So, this seems to be like the sort of thing that he would have had a hard time digging up. So
sure,
collection would be right up his alley. One reservation I have is that it is remastered. It is, as it says here, it features completely restored artwork and new vibrant coloring in a contemporary reinterpretation with modern aesthetics. Frankly, if I want to pick up a 1966 Zorro comic, I want it to look like a 1966 Zorro comic. Ben Day dots and all.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I don't think the recoloring was a necessary step here. I think it would actually mar my enjoyment of this material.
I do like that it also includes a Chaikin and Eduardo Riso story of Zorro thrown in there for good measure. So, yep, now available in color and English for the first time.
Makes you wonder where it saw print originally.
I'll assume probably either France or Italy. I don't know. Just immediately, that's where my brain goes.
Right. Yep, Italy was my first guess too.
Yep. So page 54 for that, and looking at the quote unquote revamped coloring, it ain't bad. Like it's not when they recolored like Brian Boland and it just didn't look the same anymore.
Right,
like
it's not bad, but it's not authentic. It's not 1966.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. All right, that concludes IDW. Over to Dark Horse real quick. And here we are in Dark Horse. And immediately we get Rich Doak, Gavin Smith, Masters of the Universe Genesis, #1. Not Sega Genesis, just Genesis. Discover the origins of your favorite heroes and villains with Masters of the Universe Genesis. Issue 1, we meet Skeletor, a power-hungry demon mage determined to seize control of Castle Grayskull, conquer Eternia, and become Master of the Universe. Want more of the villains? We're going to get it.
This is going on for 12 issues, apparently. It's a 12-issue maxi series telling the secret origins of different He-Man characters. I don't know if it's going to be one character per issue, or if it's going to be broken up into arcs, like 3 issues of Skeletor, maybe, and then 3 issues of somebody else.
Yeah.
Personally, I'd rather it be 1 issue per character, just so we cover as many bases as possible.
I agree with you, yeah. I have a feeling that's more than likely the direction it's going to go. Yep. All right, so check that out there on page 2. And we get a new Dungeons & Dragons series, Ravenloft #1, by Amy Chu, Ariello Cristantina, and Arif Prianto on the cover there. So this is set in Ravenloft and Dungeons & Dragons as Monster Hunter Devanir is on the case, searching for the frozen wasteland of Lemurtia for the undead creature that may hold the key to Ravenloft's fate. 4-issue mini there on page 4.
Yep, for fans of the Ravenloft module. And here is something from the world of Hellboy called The Foundry, written by Mike Mignola, of course, and Chris Roberson, with art by Christopher Mitten. And it's about the Queen's own secret agency, which investigates the paranormal and the mysterious. Characters from Witchfinder and the British Paranormal Society join together in this adventure series where they travel the world over, seeking out supernatural power technologies and the stories of the civilizations that harness them for good and evil. And here we have a cover by Christopher Mitten, which looks very pleasantly Michael Moorcockish.
Very nice. Yep. 4-issue mini there. Always love to see Mignola and Robertson work together, and we get that in spades here on page 6. Tate Bromble and Sue Lee bring us the perfectly monstrous life of Adam Frankenstein. One
which is
shot.
A spin-off of the oddly pedestrian life of Christopher Chaos.
Well, there you go. Yep. And this was a GLAAD Media Award nominated oddly pedestrian life of Chris Chaos. And in Gods and Monsters, Tate Bromble and Sue Lee reveal the origins of Adam's horrific creation under the knives of Victor Frankenstein. So we get a nice modern adaptation of Frankenstein here on page 8. Zach Kaplan bringing us the Smart Division, 5-issue mini. Dark and modern sci-fi detective series set 5 minutes in the future. What's one of my favorite sayings? When a mysterious new predictive artificial intelligence program appears responsible for assisting someone in the perfect murder, a pair of unlikely investigators, a chaotic Gen Z savant and a veteran FBI agent, must hunt down the killer by starting the FBI's first AI crimes division. Oh boy.
That's topical.
It is, and frightening. But
For that.
Smart Division #1, Zach Kaplan and John J. Pearson on page 10. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Fringe in its general premise. All right. A whole lot of ongoings to get past here. Powers, here we are, the series finale. I've been warning you, it's coming, and now it finally happened. Powers 25, issue 12 here. Bendis and Avon Oeming's newest Powers series for their 25th anniversary reaches its series finale. So, also a very a very special sneak preview to the brand new sci-fi project by Bendis and Oeming, The Futurist, which I guess will be premiering with Dark Horse in the coming months.
Seems likely. So see it here first.
Yep. Page 17 for that. Shaolin Cowboy staying AI live, keeping the AI theme going. Issue 2 there on page 18. I know we talked about the first issue last month. And Mark Miller's Starcross reaches its second issue on page 19. And The Ring right there on page 20 with its third issue.
And from Francesco Francavilla, his neo-pulp masterpiece, The Black Beetle, which was quite often late, is what I remember most about it, to be honest. But now, for the first time ever, every thrilling tale of the Black Beetle from Dark Horse Comics is collected in this one deluxe omnibus. 208 pages, $30, lots of Francavilla's gorgeous artwork.
Very nice. Well, you don't have to worry about this being late because it's all already available. So,
right there. Never before seen bonus content, including concept art, layouts, character studies, vintage style lobby cards, behind the scenes material, and who knows, maybe an issue that never quite made it to print or two.
All right.
I'm all for that. Oh, and also cool here, and this is a paperback collection too. This is the EC Archives, The Complete Piracy. All 7 issues of the Piracy series that EC put out back in its heyday, with work from writers Carl Wessler and Al Feldstein, and art from Graham Ingalls, Bernie Krigstein, and George Evans.
Excellent.
So this is EC's take on the high seas. It's good. They gave us EC's take on like chivalry last month, so they are collecting stuff that's other than the blood and gore, crime and horror stuff for which EC is best known.
Yep. The good, not the good kind of piracy, but the type of piracy that doesn't involve stealing things from the internet. So yep.
Right.
All 7 issues there on page 21. Speaking of Mr. Mignola, and from the pages of Hellboy, Carmen Redclaw, Belly of the Beast is collected in full trade paperback form here, all 4 issues, as well as bonus sketchbook material there on page 24. And Kelly Sue DeConnick and David Lopez's FML, all 8 issues of that, including some bonus concept material, is available on page 27. It's a coming-of-age apocalyptic odyssey about a group of metal kids who face a medley of bizarre foes and encounter in Portland, Oregon during a worldwide pandemic. Can't possibly imagine where they got the inspiration for that. More Lovecraft, the Dunwich Horror Deluxe Edition here by Gu Tanabe, and translated by my buddy Zach Davison. That's there on page 28. And Kali gets a new edition. So any of you folks interested in Daniel Friedman and Robert Samelin's Kali, it's been out of print for a bit. Kind of a Mad Maxi type series. And it'll be back in print as of September 1st, available here from Dark Horse on page 30. And Kill All Immortals 2, all 5 issues of that there by Zach Kaplan and Fico Ossio is there on page 31.
Who saw this coming from Dark Horse?
I know, and certainly something that makes you a happy man, since it's kind of what got you going in the first place.
That's true. It is very much a part of my origin story.
Yep.
Marvel Universe Gallery 1990 through 1994 trading card collection.
Yep.
With text by Bob Budiansky, who was kind of a big deal in Marvel production back then. In 1990, after decades as a leader in the comics industry, Marvel Comics joined forces with Impel Marketing to enter the booming business of collectible, misspelled, collectible is spelled with an I, not an A, trading cards. Though classically dominated by the likes of pro athletes, the marketplace end of the 20th century was overtaken by trading cards for other popular media. Marvel Universe trading cards smashed into the scene with a shockwave that sent collectors and fans rushing to acquire every entry in each annual set. From iconic stalwarts like Spider-Man, Wolverine, and Doctor Doom, to more esoteric sensations like Bloodseed, Slayback, and Dead Zone. 90s.
Oh, you better believe it.
Not only did these cards feature a dynamic original art, but fans could finally reference their favorite characters' abilities, origins, and alternate identities in the pre-internet halcyon days. They even came with power ratings.
Ooh.
Now, Marvel and Dark Horse team up to assemble and showcase the complete Marvel Universe trading card collection from 1990 to 1994.
Wow.
Nearly 1,000 cards, including rare chase holograms, foils, and acetates. Each card is represented in exacting detail with commentaries throughout from Marvel veterans. The Marvel Universe Gallery is a chance to examine an anchor point in Marvel history through cards that turned a generation into Marvel maniacs overnight, and I should know I'm a member of that freaking generation.
Amen, brother. Amen. Yep. Wow. So I still have at my mom's somewhere, right after this, Flare Ultra X-Men 95 was the series that I collected. And I think I have all but like 6 of a complete set. Like I came so freaking close, and I never managed to get like at least like 5 or 6 of them. One of these days I'll have to figure out which cards I was missing and see whether or not it's easy enough to just pick them up. But yeah, that's what really got me into it. But I did have a bunch of these cards laying around from the 90 to 94 era as well. So very happy to see this in print. Weirdly enough, from Dark Horse here on page 32.
It is kind of strange, but I'll take it from any source.
Definitely. Yep. Then on the next page, Minor Threats Volume 3, The Last Devil Left Alive, that collects that 5-issue mini by Patton Oswalt and Jordan Bloom in full. There on page 33. And some Star Wars stuff. I always like to mention the Star Wars stuff from Dark Horse, since once upon a time it was the only place you could get Star Wars stuff. But Star Wars Hyperspace Stories by Justina Ireland and Jorge Duarte. This is a Mace Windu story. That is being told here, and it's a quintessential standalone tale of one of the galaxy's most powerful Jedi Masters. And that's there on page 35. The World of Black Hammer Library Edition Volume 6 is available as well. So nice deluxe version of Black Hammer there. And Kristen Gudsnuck's Touched by a Demon, which I remember us mentioning in the past. This is all 4 issues of that, and I love the name, and the cover is nice and whimsical as well there on page 37.
It's about a demon who tries to find redemption for himself by starting a life coaching business and just ends up destroying a bunch of people's lives.
And in passing here, in conclusion, I will point out the Hobbit Bilbo Baggins vinyl figure that's on page 39 right there. That is wonderful.
Yes, that is the Rankin Bass animated design of Bilbo Baggins, and I love it dearly.
And now I will once again have Leonard Nimoy's Bilbo Baggins stuck in my head. All right.
The greatest adventure is what lies ahead. Moving on.
Fantastic. We got some singing Murd. We're all right. All right. Vampyrates. Vampyrates! It's called Vampyrates.
You gotta shout it. If you're not shouting it, you're saying it wrong.
Oh my God. Fred Van Lente, I love you. Luca Pizzari on the artwork for it as well. This is out of Boom here. Through the darkness of the 1,000-year eclipse, they sail, seeking adventure, treasure, and blood. In a world ruled by vampires, Empress Nera of the Night Isles has always cared more for sword fighting and carousing than ruling. But when she escapes a vicious coup by stowing aboard VMS Abyss, a pirate ship run by the mysterious Captain Akeo, she gets more than she can handle of both. It's vampires and they're pirates, so it's Vampyrates, you see.
Yep, this is not the first time somebody noticed that those two words could be elided that way. But this is the first time it's been written by Fred Van Lente.
Yes, exactly.
That is what makes me sit up and pay attention.
Yep, right there on page 2 of Boom. And most importantly, that is a very good looking preview page. Very nice. And on we go to Power Rangers Unlimited by Joey Esposito and Kenny Porter, illustrated by Alessio Zano. Groundbreaking new series featuring all your favorite Rangers across time and space. So kind of taking the X-Men Unlimited course here for this Unlimited series. It could be about anybody depending on the story, and that also means you can get different creators along the way as well.
Anthology style. I like it.
Mm-hmm. Joey Esposito, Kenny Porter, Alessio Zotto.
Even cooler if it were 64 pages per issue, just like the golden age of Marvel's Unlimited series.
Ooh, yeah, that would be nice. Yep. Well, this one in particular draw from across 30 years of canon to bring together unlimited dream teams of your favorite Rangers, and this is just good stuff here on page 8. Ooh, nice character designs there. Striking Tiger, Unlimited Ranger. Lord Zed being Lord Zeddy. Page 9.
Very Lord Zed indeed. Oh yeah.
Oof. All right, they're putting a lot of preview pages in here to fill out their boom catalog this month, but I ain't mad. A reminder, Marguerite Bennett's Mighty Morphin Power Rangers reboot, second issue here, available on page 18. Teenagers with attitude, no more. They still have attitude. They're just old now. That's the difference.
Got it.
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Compact Comics Edition. Being smart and making compact comics, as they're now a thing people read. Kyle Higgins, Henry Prestea, Tony Silas, and Jonathan Lamb are your writers and artists behind this. Collects Mighty Morphin Power Rangers issues 0 through 12 of the Kyle Higgins era. Kyle Higgins loves his Rangers and his Rangers pastiches.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I've noticed that about him too.
Mm-hmm. Age 21. And then the final issue of Baby Garfield. Who would have thought it would only last 4 issues? But Ben Clanton, Annie Nishida, Olivia Amoa, and Kay DeVault bring us the final issue of this tiny series about a baby Garfield.
Ben Clanton was also the creator of Aquamana Team.
Yes! Thank you once again for bringing that up. And we are 1 issue away from the 50th issue of Something is Killing the Children. 50 issues of that, man. James Tynion IV. Good job, sir, on page 25. Good job. Also, if I'm getting page numbers wrong, it's because this thing is taking a while to actually register page changes, but we'll do our best. All right. That is just about it. Minor Arcana, Book 1, Deluxe Edition by Jeff Lemire. So this got a lot of praise when it came out, and this is the all 15 issues of Minor Arcana by Jeff Lemire, illustrated by Jeff Lemire and Letizia Cartoncini here on page 32.
Oh, wow. And Boom is publishing a graphic novel adaptation of John Kennedy Toole's A Confederacy of Dunces.
Interesting. Okay.
Which is, well, just as this, I like what the solicitation says about it, a wildly outrageous satiric portrait of 1960s America that still resonates today, which is another way of saying it's a little dated. But still, its main character, Ignatius J. Riley, is truly larger than life. He's unforgettable literary protagonist.
Yep. This adaptation is both written and drawn by Albert Montes. And bringing it to the graphic novel space here on page 33. All right, and that ends Boom. So let's head back to the main catalog here. Get ourselves through some more stuff. All right, gonna use that down button to make it a lot easier. Here we go. Beware Her Fury, by drawn in quarterly here by Miriam Maleev. Hell hath no fury like a woman harmed. Clemence is angry and it's driving her mad. It's not that life isn't good. In fact, life is pretty great. Movie nights with her besties, trading Tinder horror stories, inking folks day in and day out as a tattoo artist. She's even got herself the perfect new girlfriend, but not even the overwhelming atmosphere of love in her life can shake the specter of her trauma loose. Processing the aftermath of her sexual assault is no easy feat, particularly when life still has so much to offer. When she begins habitually confronting catcallers preying on young women on the streets of Montreal, her therapist suggests she joins a support group for fellow survivors. Will the flames of her own fury consume her, or will her community save her by keeping her company 1 week at a time? Marion Maleev brings a very important story to the front here. Beware her fury, on page 254 of The Lunar.
A bunch of preview pages of that here as well.
Quite nice looking. Past Dynamic Forces and their selling of variant covers to things. And on we go to Dynamite. And Dynamite got the Buffy license. Wow. Okay. I had heard this was coming, and I didn't realize it was coming so soon. Kelly Thompson and Stephen Byrne bring Buffy the Vampire Slayer to Dynamite with a brand new Buffy series. Yeah. No longer with Boom. Back with with a different publisher now. I think this is like the third or fourth publisher that's had the Buffy license over the years.
It was Dark Horse at one point.
Yes, it was. Yep, and then it was Boom for a couple of years, and now it's over here. But into every generation, a Slayer is born, and Buffy Summers may have broken the mold. Through Buffy's powers were varied and great. It was the love and devotion she inspired that was perhaps her greatest power. When she gave her life to save the world, people who loved her couldn't live with that. This is that story, featuring the comics debut of a beloved Buffy fan favorite character. So, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, issue 1 here by Kelly Thompson. Great creator to write Buffy. So this should be some interesting stuff to pay attention to here, with a terrific Amanda Connor cover here on display on page 281. Ooh, really like the designs here of each character. It's got a comic sensibility to them, but very much still reminiscent of the original actors.
Yeah, which is important for adapting real people's likenesses to comics.
Mm-hmm. And then Dan Panosian brings us Fire and Ice, Dark Wolf #1. Born from the immortal imagination of fantasy illustrator supreme Frank Frazetta, Dark Wolf storms into the new era of savage fantasy, brought to life by Dan Panosian and powerhouse artist Andrew Lunatic. It just makes sense that somebody's name is Lunatic and they're doing Fire and Ice Dark Wolf. Like, come on, it's a given. Violent, mythic, unrelenting. This is Dark Wolf, who the legend begins here. A fierce, visceral rebirth of one of fantasy's most iconic warriors. Page 287. And then Red Sonja Noir, The Plunder and the Princess by David Avalone. Wasn't expecting a noir series for Red Sonja, but then again, I wasn't expecting a Spider-Man noir series, and then I got one. So go figure.
And it's good so far, isn't it?
Yes, it most definitely is. Yep. Checked out the first 2 episodes available on Amazon before we recorded today, and it is some very campy, fun stuff. And of course, if anybody's getting a summer special, Vampirilla's going to get it.
Nothing says fun in the sun like a vampire, after all.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Even though technically she's not a supernatural vampire, she's a Draculon or something. But
right, yeah. Erica Schultz and Andrea Mello bring the summer special to our here on page 293. And then Space Ghost gets an annual this month by Paposi and Jonathan Lau.
Mm-hmm. The creative team of the Space Ghost Monthly. And it also, this annual crosses over Space Ghost and Herculoids.
Ah, very cool.
Yes, a story that will spill over into upcoming Dynamite comics.
Excellent. Ben 10's 3rd issue here by Joe Casey and Robert Carey. In this issue, the debut of fan favorite alien Diamond Head. Any of you Ben 10 fans, do check that out there on page 298. Thundercats X Silverhawks is in its 4th issue. And part 10 of the epic crossover is this 4th issue. The walls are closing in. Chitara is the fiercest of the Thundercats, but she can only do so much against the unstoppable Darkbirds. The only way to victory would require the arrival of friends long thought dead. What? Page 303. Also, the animation art cover there's a problem there. Like when you're putting 4:3 artwork onto 8.5 by 11, and you have to do a freaking box around it. Nah, just don't. It was worth a shot, but yeah, they blew their shot. I'm sorry. Gargoyles Volume 2 here in Manhattan by Greg Weisman and George Cambadeus. So Demona is back in this collection here on page 310. Gaston it's in a 5th issue. Gaston makes a spectacular escape amid fireworks. It's the thrilling finale of Gaston. Only 5 issues for Gaston. Oh well.
Yeah, it's very nearly the only Dynamite book I'm buying this month, too.
Oh, well. Page 314. And Timon and Pumbaa are on the run from rhinos in The Lion King issue 7 here on page 316.
And those rhinos look pissed.
For that matter, the first volume of Lion King is available now. So if you want to catch up on the issues that have already come out, do that there on page 317. Also, the full collection of Harley Quinn X Elvira by Amanda Connor, Jimmy Palmiotti, and Amanda Connor and Juan Samu on the artwork chores. Available there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I think those comics, miniseries, whatever they were gaining some fan attention.
Oh, most definitely, yeah. And it was one of those ones that was originally solicited at another publisher, most definitely, because I remember it was like the last month that Diamond had anything in it. and then it got delayed a month or two, and then Dynamite made their deal with Lunar, and now it's available. So Harley Quinn X Elvira collection there on page 322.
It does. I do think I remember that Dynamite was one of the last ones out the door.
Mm-hmm.
That collapse.
Yep. Blue Falcon and Dynamite also get a collection here, also by Jimmy Palmiotti, with Pasquale Colano, also on page 322. The Fred Van Lente Peter Cannon Thunderbolt trade paperback available there on page 323.
Yep. One of my favorite of the old Charlton action heroes.
Mm-hmm.
Brought to us by Fred Van Lente and old friend artist Jonathan Lau.
Excellent.
Shame it only lasted 3 issues.
Yeah. And out we go into the wild here, into the rest of the book. See if any number ones catch our eyes or our collections. Fantagraphics starts us off here with Shock Treatment and Other Stories by Jack Kamen, Reed Crandall, George Evans, and others. Forced to abandon its horror and crime comics, EC turned to a pair of well-crafted, high-tension medical dramas by later Hall of Fame greats Jack Kamen, Reed Crandall, Graham Ingalls, and Joe Orlando. Shock Treatment and Other Stories collects them all. Yep.
There's more non-horror EC rarities coming out this month.
Yeah. Yep. EC's all over the catalog in various forms, and this is more of the obscure stuff, definitely, here on page 339. The Extraordinary Adventures of Adele Blanc-Sec by Tardy. The iconic Parisian Adventure series turns 50 years old. And here is the first volume of it in English. So Fantagraphics is thrilled to introduce a new generation of comics readers to its delightful alchemy of suspense, satire, and the supernatural. So if you're interested in some old school French comics, they are available for you there on page 341. My Imaginary Duck by Graham Annabelle.
We should all have one of those.
I know. Shockingly, this is a young reader's comic, but nonetheless, it's a familiarize children with the world of graphic novel storytelling and encourage visual literacy in emerging readers. Comics powerhouse Graham Annabelle introduces readers to Mavis and her best imaginary friend, Duck. So it's Calvin and Hobbes for a new generation here. Mavis and Duck, page 344. Care Bears, Colors of Caring.
And it would appear to be a coloring book.
Of course it is. Yep, page 349. If you ever wanted to color in your Care Bears, now you have the opportunity.
Now, we just whooshed past a Halloween kids book by LeBron James.
Oh, wow. How about that? Wow. Comics luminary LeBron James. Yep. How about that? Happy Spooky Halloween with illustrations by Ariel Landy. So, yep. Hickory Elementary is having their annual Halloween party, and Zara and the other kindergartners are finally here to attend. But when they show up, it isn't quite what they expected. Everything is spine-chilling, toes-tingling, terrifying, and absolutely petrifying. So, yep, LeBron James gives a kid's Halloween story a go here on page 355. He's got some time on his hands because he was eliminated from the playoffs. Go Knicks.
I find it difficult to join you in wishing the Knicks well right now, Ian.
I have no idea what you're talking about, sir.
Just thinking of the people they stepped on along the way.
Oh, I know. 12 in a row. 12 in a row. All right, fine. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And watch them still lose in the finals because they're the Knicks. They could easily do it.
I'm waiting.
Yeah. I hope it doesn't happen, but I've had my dreams dashed before. I still blame O.J. Simpson's chase for ruining the Knicks' chances against the Rockets back when I was a kid. So
yeah. That was certainly a jinx.
Oh my God!
On more than a couple of things back then.
Definitely. Meanwhile, the Anime Archives, written by Lost and Cult. This celebrates it all, from the Ghibli films that fans queued for at cinemas to the eagerly anticipated weekly One Piece episodes and Attack on Titan's enormous cultural footprint. No icon would be left out. Discover more about the creators and creative processes that gave life to these worlds that defined childhoods while capturing imaginations. So if you want some history behind the life of anime, it's there for you on page 358. And Simpsons Comics Colossal Compendium, Volume 2. Written and illustrated by Matt Groening. That doesn't sound right, but...
It's not really. Autographed by Matt Groening.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Originally created by Matt Groening. But the continuing series of handpicked stories is chock full, featuring 176 pages of comedic gems in a high-quality trade paperback format that includes a pull-out paper craft that will allow the reader to recreate the second in a series of Springfield's famous landmarks. We get Bartman of the future in this, and a whole bunch more on page 360 by creators that are not Matt Groening, but The Simpsons was created by him.
Basically cherry-picked from a bunch of bongo comics, of which there were many over the years.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And this is basically the same thing, this heebie-jeebie hullabaloo.
Yep.
It's got a bunch of Simpsons fun facts and activities, and also 3 complete issues of Bart Simpson's Treehouse of Horror, which lasted 20-odd issues, I think.
Oh, yeah. Yep. In fact, I wouldn't be shocked if there's some Gail Simone stuff in there, honestly, because she did a whole bunch of early bongo Simpsons comics.
She absolutely did. Yep. And those Treehouse of Horror things, they featured guest creators from all levels of comics creation, and even some people not famous for comics, like Alice Cooper wrote a story.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Mark Hamill wrote a story.
Yep. Good stuff there on page 361. Oh, wow. 1984, the graphic novel. Previously solicited with other distributors. written by George Orwell. Well, of course, and illustrated by Fido Nesti. So this is a complete graphic novel adaptation of the 1984 original story, and where we go from there, basically. I actually once saw a stage play version of 1984. Olivia Wilde was in it. It was pretty well done. Very grim and a lot of flashing lights. But otherwise pretty well done. But this is now a graphic novel adaptation of 1984.
Yeah, I don't think I'd want to see an adaptation of 1984 that wasn't grim.
Oh, it has to be. Yes, absolutely. Page 363 for that. And then a new edition of one of the most important comics ever made. Scott McCloud's Making Comics. This is helped so many kids and adults alike understand the craft and just how to make a comic. And it's still relevant today, and I'm glad to see it back in solicitation in any form here by Harper Alley on page 364. If you've never checked it out, it's readily available in a bunch of different places, but this is definitely worth having in your collection. Get further down here.
Yes. Hermes Press is putting out a black and white photo book of the old Gothic soap opera Dark Shadows. They call it Dark Shadows Noir. Over 250 full-size photographs, many never before seen, giving fans a look behind the scenes of this iconic television series.
Wow. Yep. The longest-running soap of all time, I believe, correct? At least in the U.S. Or pretty close to it.
Yeah, I'm really not sure about that.
Yeah, it definitely has a couple of records to its name, but either way, Dark Shadows, it was a luminary, and it was there for many years. So
it ran for 5 years. It says there.
Oh, well then never mind then. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure that there are other soaps that have lasted a lot longer than that.
There have been many.
I'm sure it's the longest running that starred a vampire. Anyway.
You know what? I'm just going to go with that. Okay. Yeah. For some reason in my head, I had it that it ran so much longer than that. But if it ran 5 years, then it ran 5 years. So go figure. Yep.
Yeah. Well, since it was daily, they cranked out 1,200 episodes in that 5-year period.
Oh my God! Please, yeah. Yep. Oh boy.
Yep. And they do show a lot of they're giving a lot away for free here in this solicit.
They are. Luckily, not all 200 of them, but yeah, they sure did do a decent amount. For that matter, they also have the Gold Key Facsimile Edition, Dark Shadows #1, by Joe Seta, and written by DJ Arneson. So this is the Dark Shadows comic book adaptation.
Yeah, it's a cool little oddity to put out there, but it's only 32 pages, and they're charging $10 for it. And
yeah.
I don't think I want to read Gold Key's take on Barnabas Collins that badly.
Agreed. Page 391. And then they have even more Dark Shadows. Curse of Dark Shadows. As
revised edition.
Yep. Puts the sold-out smash hit graphic novel back in print, containing classic characters from the cult television series. 192 pages with supplemental material. Who actually wrote it? There we go. Okay. Written by Craig Hurd McKinney with art and cover by the famous Jock. But not that Jock, a different Jock.
Right. This is just J-O-K.
I know. Yeah. He knew what he was doing, naming himself that. But page 399 for that, and it's back in production. And on we go into Image. And Image starts us off on page 1 of their catalog, /399 of the main, with a new series by Robert Kirkman and Joe Casey, Terminal. Secret war being waged across the world by two violent forces with superhuman abilities who blur the line between good and evil. When Marilyn Howe's search for her missing sister Alessandra puts her in the center of the conflict, she'll learn that the power to save the world comes from unlocking your genetic code and giving up everything you thought you knew about yourself if you survive the experience. Famous if you survive the experience words there, as they also say that it's perfect for fans of Invincible and the X-Men.
Uh-huh.
So, yep. There we go.
Nothing can prepare you for the most violent and unpredictable superhero series of the year.
Indeed. Yep. So Joe Casey and Robert Kirkman are your creators behind this. Art by Andy frickin' Kubert and Dave McCaig. So do check that out. And when it is out there on page 1 of the catalog /414.
Yep. The concept seems like it would have been comfortable back in the days of Maximum Press.
Yep.
Early Image, but since it's being written by Kirkman and Casey, there will be a story inside.
Oh, yeah. Yep. And then...
And then...
on page 420, it's written by Rob Liefeld, and the art is by someone else. The art is by Seth Damoose. The youngest and most dynamic member of the world's greatest super squad blasts off in his own solo spotlight. When Bad Rock's mom is abducted, he's forced to submit to the demands of her mysterious abductors. Series premiere here. It's written by Rob Liefeld. I'm just going to let that sink in a little bit further. And we're moving on. All right. Let's see how much feet shows up because he didn't draw it. All right. Tyler Boss and Dylan Burnett, 5-issue mini, Exquisite Corpses, Rascal Randy. This is before the events of Exquisite Corpses Season 1. Witness the final murder spree of this iconic killer as chaos hops into town with buck teeth bared and ears flopping, and the secret, sordid history of Rascal Randy is finally revealed. Tyler Boss, Dylan Burnett, Exquisite Corpses, Rascal Randy, number 1 of 5, on page 12/425. Ooh, got some new Liam Sharp.
Book 2 of his space opera series, Starhinge. Yep. Book 2 is entitled A Kiss for Atticus, 4-issue miniseries.
Yep.
Yeah, I realized that I forgot to collect Book 1 in single issue form, but fortunately, as we'll see when we get down to the trades, the first volume is collected. So if you, like me, missed out on it and would like to try Volume 2, you can buy a collection of Volume 1 at the same time you're ordering the first issue of Volume 2.
Oof. And that is some very nice looking artwork, if I do say so myself.
Oh, yes, Liam Sharp knows what he's doing.
You better believe it. Such wonderful use of blacks, like and just like the watercolorness of it all. Beautiful.
It's like a whole comic made up of like Dave McKean cover paintings.
Good point. Yep. All right. So one of my favorite comics in recent years is Do a Powerbomb. And this is the black and white edition of Do a Powerbomb. So if you just want the gorgeous pencils and inks of Dan Warren Johnson without color, then you got it here. So if you haven't checked it out and you want to give it a go, this might very well be a good way to do so here. Each issue is 48 pages. They're charging $5.99 for 48 pages. I don't mind that for 48 pages. So black and white here, 3 issues on page 435/22. And then for the Comic-Con fans and all of us, Dread the Hall H 2026 by Chris Ryall and Jordan Hart. Art by Luana Vecchio, C.P. Wilson III, Chris Anderson, Mariana Ignasi, and Tom Williams. This is back for your VIP pass to 48 pages of convention-related horror stories. Yes. There's nothing I love more than horror stories from conventions. Not that I have any of myself, of course, but, still. Page 23/436 for that. Oh my God, the 90s costumes. Oh my God, the 90s costumes. that may as well be what Sue Storm wore in like 1993. Like, oh my God.
Oh my goodness, with the cutout number 4 above her cleavage. Yes.
Ugh, so bad. And Tony Fleeks reaches his 25th issue of Feral here. So the end of a story arc. The feral cats meet the stray dogs. Page 28/441 here. Congratulations on 25 issues of Feral Mr. Fleeks. All right. Something epic. I don't think that's Howard the Duck, but it sure does look like him.
Yeah, it wants to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, instead it's a character called Deductive.
Love it. Why not? Why not? It's close enough. Close enough. It's a duck detective, you know? It's a duck detective.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Page 30/443. Duck detective was taken, otherwise they would have named him that. All right. Capes, 9th issue. Benito Sereno and Robert Kirkman. Art by Mark Englert and Corey Walker. So further in the Capes story there, page 32/445. All right. Down into the trades we'll go, as everything else is kind of ongoing, unless there's anything else in between. G.I. Joe issue 24, I'll mention in passing. What is Crystal Ball's secret plan? Find that out in the 24th issue, one away from issue 25 of G.I. Joe, so I'm sure that'll be epic there. Page 44/457. And the Ghost Machine official guidebook is in its 4th of fifth issues. Mm-hmm. Once again, having as many homage covers to similar things as it can possibly do.
And once again, I'll be buying them all.
I know you will.
This is not normally a problem I have, but I sure have it now.
It's okay. We call it the Wrath Complex. It's fine.
I don't think I'm going to be a chronic sufferer.
No. Every now and then you can slip into it, but don't forever slip into it. Yep. If Destruction Be Our Lot, issue 3 here by Matthew Rosenberg and Mart Elijah Rosenberg, with art by Andy McDonald.
The continuing misadventures of an animatronic Abraham Lincoln in a post-human world ruled by robots.
I'd like to believe that it is just the Disney one, like the Mr. Lincoln that just somehow gains sentience in an apocalyptic world.
That's probably what the creators had in mind.
Oh yeah. 4th and final issue of In Your Skin by Aditya Bidikar here on page 54/467. Battle Beasts 11th issue. What? Did you think they'd only fight for one issue? Conquest versus Battle Beast. Yeah, baby. Page 468/55. All right. Now we can go down into the collections. And in the collections, we get... Oh, you know what? Actually, one more. Why not? Super Creep Show, issue 5 of 5. Gotta love me a Fantastic Four #1 send up, and we get that here. So,
yep, that we do.
Mm-hmm. Ram V and Christian Ward on this with Ricardo Bercielli and Fabio Veras on the art chores, page 74/47. And here we are in the collections. Dork, Volume 1. Brett Bean's Dork gets a collection. Collects issues 1 through 5 of the Dork series. Perfect mix of Bone, The Dark Crystal, Discworld, and Monty Python. Dork is destined to be a new fan favorite for years to come.
It has been kind of a surprise hit.
Yep. Well, this trade should suit people well then. Page 90/503. Wrestle Heist gets a collection. This will probably be on my shelf, maybe New York Comic Con era, but Kyle Starks with the writing and story here. And that's all 5 issues, plus a brand new, never before seen 6-page story to finish it all off there on page 94/507. Very much looking forward to checking this one out. Wrestle Heist. And Volume 2 of Assorted Crisis Events. Issues 6 through 9 of that series there on page 95/508. The Invincible Volume 16 Watch the 4th season of the animated series on Prime Video. Collects Invincible 91 through 96 in compact form here on page 99/512. And the 8th volume of Radiant Black. I have a lot of catching up to do here. Page 100/513. Yep. All right. And I think, well, Void Rivals will be the last thing I mention here. Volume 5 of that, the Quintessence Wars. Collects Void Rivals issue 25 through 30 on page 104/517. And that takes us out of Image and into The Last Starfighter, number 1. Ben Robb and Derek Hughes with art by Willie Roberts bring us an adaptation of this movie classic. Oh, I'm sorry. It's a sequel.
It is.
Oh, wow. All right. Okay. I'm down. Small town teenager Alex Rogan has already saved multiple worlds, but that was only the beginning of his story. 40 years after the cult classic movie that pioneered CGI and inspired generations of fans, an all-new story picks up from the end credits and takes off for the stars directly after the events of the Last Starfighter. Brings us this series. So, all right. Down for it. July 1st is the release date, 32 pages, $4.99. Ben Robb and Derek Hughes, The Last Starfighter, issue 1, page 528.
Ben Robb in a long time.
Neither have I. Not since the issues of Kyle Rayner's Green Lantern that I did not enjoy very much. But he's had some hit or misses there, but he's had some good stuff as well. Also get Mr. Nemo by Mark London with art by Alden Kay. This is Mad Cave, by the way. A new chapter of the Underworld universe begins here. A brilliant analyst uncovers a global conspiracy and is immediately marked for disappearance, only to be rescued by the mysterious Nemo, a man waging a secret war from beneath the ocean. Well, you use the name Nemo, and you shockingly involve the ocean. So
yep, you just have to demote him to Mr.
Exactly. Page 530 for that. So, cover art by Amanda Connor, but not right now, because it's not there. But Pop Kill number 1, seasonal flavors, 4th of July themed. Written by Palmiotti and Dave Johnson, art by Juan Santa Cruz, with a coming soon cover by Amanda Connor. This is back in print with a brand new seasonal flavors cover series. Special 4th of July theme variant reintroduces the best-selling first issue of Pop Kill, only now it's July 4th themed. Na 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 na. Page 536 for that.
Yeah. Yep. Already bought that one once.
Good. You don't have to buy it again.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Gotchabon gets to its 20th issue here. Sam Humphries and Chris Batista still on the helm. Page 543 for that. Dick Tracy's one away from that same marker. Alex Segura and Michael Morecci, 19th issue of Dick Tracy on page 544. Caught flat-footed by Flat Top. Right. Ooh. So, Bruce Jones and Al Williamson. This is the 1980 Flash Gordon comic book adaptation. Back in print. On page 552 here. I had completely forgotten that Bruce Jones did comics before the Hulk, because I mostly just knew him as a novel writer. But yeah, here he is doing the movie adaptation of Flash.
Yep, good spot for his talents, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Basically, anything that doesn't tie into an ongoing universe of continuity, just
definitely.
And
this Al Williamson artwork is actually really great. I mean, as you would expect it to be, but yeah, I think it captures the world very well. Yep. Page 552 for that. Happy to see that back in print for people to check out. All right, down we go. into Defenders of the Earth by that guy who used to run DC, Dan DiDio, and art by Alex Sanchez. Defenders of the Earth, Dark Destiny. It's the Justice League of not the Justice League.
Justice League of the King Features Syndicate.
Mm-hmm. Flash Gordon. We got the Shadow in there. Not the Shadow. The Phantom in there, and a bunch of others. So, page 564 if you are interested. But then, most importantly, I named an entire episode out of this, so I'm damn sure going to mention it. The Florida Hippopotamus Cocaine Massacre. Jamal Igle got an early copy of this and talked about it on a recent episode, and it's why I named that episode at the end. It's partially and cocaine hippos. Oh my! Florida Hippopotamus Cocaine Massacre. Fred Kennedy, James Edward Clark, a no-nonsense federal agent and a lone wolf cop, chased down a brutal drug lord in a flooded amusement park swarming with blood-crazed hippos and cutthroat mercenaries. Yes. Thank you for this comic book. Thank you very much, Matt Gave. All in for this, 100%. Page 566.
The comic that told Cocaine Bear, hold my beer.
Most definitely. Release date July 29th for this one. Yeah, and the preview pages, this is my type of comic. This is 100% my type of comic. Just zany in all the right ways. The Last Session, the complete campaign by Jasmine Walls of D&D fame, and Dozer Draws as the artist here, collected in full out of Maverick on page 570. You know, Jasmine from her Acquisitions Incorporated stuff. And Across the Wildest Seas by Gene Kremers. A story about how entering adulthood can feel like being lost at sea. Ain't that the truth? On page 572. Been there, done that. Bought the t-shirt. All right, we'll head down a little bit more into North Valley Grimoire. If I can actually find the damn solicit for it. There it is. Blake Northcott and Giuseppe Cafaro. Spycraft meets spellcraft in this slick James Bond-style adventure fused with the supernatural suspense of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So, yeah, take your stealth ops and combined it with some sorcery, essentially. Yeah, not a bad concept.
Yeah, you can get behind that.
Yep. Page 579 for that sucker there. Now we're in Massive Indies, which starts off with not an indie. What is this doing here? I know it's the Hero Initiative, but still, like, come on. Giant Size X-Men 100 project. It has literally everybody involved with it. It's Marvel, it's the Hero Initiative. There will only be one printing of this book ever. All of Hero Initiative's 100 plus original covers to Marvel Comics Giant Size X-Men are on display in this great book. How is Marvel not just publishing this themselves? Like, you would think that they would collaborate with the Hero Initiative and get it out there for more people to see rather than it being in Massive Indies, but well. Page 585 for it. It's going to be gorgeous, obviously, but yeah, if you're interested, buy it now because there ain't going to be another version of it. And then
Don Hand Comics.
Yep.
From Amp Comics underneath Massive, a part of the collective that is Massive Indies, writer Don Handfield, artist Alper Gexel, The Greatest American Hero #1. Yep, we're doing this again.
Mm-hmm. Believe it or not, I'm walking on air. I never thought I could be so free.
Flying away on a wing and a prayer.
Yeah, who could it be? Him, that's who. The Greatest American Hero.
Yep, that guy. William Catt.
Mm-hmm. The new first issue includes an additional page and 3 great covers. So, yep, we're back at it here on page 590 for any of you Greatest American Hero fans looking for more. Down we go further. Let's see, Anything interesting in the massives here? Spy Bunnies, #1, by that guy Chuck Dixon, and art by Erwin Presetia. So Antarctic Press is putting out a Chuck Dixon comic, and it looks like it's a little bit of Charlie's Angels-ish with some bunny-esque characters.
Yeah, kind of an Austin Powers era Charlie's Angels.
Yeah. Patty, Coco, and Martine. So they're on page 605. Yeah.
Yeah, wow. It's Devil's Due's anniversary, you see, so they're reprinting some of their best known properties from years past. That's why we're getting this reprinted edition of Love Bunny and Mr. Hell.
Man, I loved that comic back in the day. I think I still may have one of the collections on my shelf if I haven't sold it off the book off. Yeah. But happy to see it back in print and for new people to check it out. Hopefully, that's good stuff.
I'm positive I've got a pocketbook-sized edition someplace.
Yep. And then Heavy Metal Magazine, issue 6. Get a whole bunch of different stories in here, including a standalone science fiction story for 2430 AD, an adaptation by Fernando Fernandez, as well as Space Time by Chelsea, and The Outer Boroughs Wars by R.G. Lorena, each exploring distinct visions of the future and the unknown alongside Burton and Sib by Segura and Ortiz, and much more. Heavy Metal issue 6 there on page 617. Let's head a little bit further down. Watson v. Holmes.
Sherlock Holmes is a vampire now. Watson has to try and stop him.
Well, great. John Santina and Jordan Rodriguez. Yeah, I'm shocked they haven't done this yet, to be honest with you. I mean, Watson and Holmes have been everything else. Like, why don't we deal with a vampire situation here? So, experience Sherlock Holmes as you've never seen him before. Sucking blood.
Right, and never particularly wanted to. So.
Yeah, well, why not? Iron Age Comics here on page 639.
Yeah. This one is not being written by Fred Van Lente, so I'm not really paying attention.
I agree entirely. Right. I think we can mostly head out of the massive indies, even though it takes up like 300 pages of this entire thing.
It does go on for a while, and it does provide like a showcase for a lot of smaller publishers who, as you have observed before, probably would have just gone belly up with the demise of Diamond. So
I agree. Yep.
Be glad that this exists, but there's just not that much to spark our interest.
I'll touch on this in passing. The collection of Pop Scars, as I believe we mentioned it a little bit before, but Hollywood chews you up, Pinky spits back. This is not a love letter to Hollywood. This is blackmail. In the glitter-stained gutters of Los Angeles, Pinky, a masked vigilante with a vendetta, launches a brutal, blood-spattered mission of revenge. Her target, the man who destroyed her life and built her career off the backs of the broken. Her own father, a powerful movie producer, hiding behind red carpets and industry fame. This is Pop Scars. Yep. Interesting premise.
Yeah. Kind of intense.
And the artwork looks damn fine as well. So Santi Gillen on the artwork, Pat O'Malley on the writing. Pop Scars Volume 1 on page 681. Assload of things we can skip because it's mostly just toys and art books. And then here we go to Oni. And we begin with something that is absolutely not inspired by Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in any way. Super Mondo Mega Mutts.
Right. As if stuff like Street Sharks and Biker Mice from Mars weren't enough for them, they had to just invent their own wannabe Turtles knockoff 90s toy and cartoon franchise and make a comic about it.
I think my favorite was Battletoads, just because like it was just so blatant. It was so ridiculously blatant.
It was at that, but it was a fun game until it became lethally frustrating.
Yeah. I also heard there was a never produced. Well, they made a pilot for it, but they attempted to make an animated series out of it, and nobody picked it up.
I've definitely seen that pilot. I remember it.
Yeah. Kurt Heyer is here, and Juan Gideon are your force behind this 4-issue mini of Super Mondo Mega Mutts. 1 year ago, a fragment of an interdimensional civilization collided with downtown LA, creating an impregnable no man's land where the laws of physics no longer apply. Convinced that no human being could survive the terrain within, the U.S. government's most morally compromised contractors decide to explore the area codenamed the Gleam by sending in 4 research animals in the hopes of capturing its precious technological wonders. They were hoping to find a new kind of weapon. What they got instead was 4 radically transformed dogs with minds and a mission all their own. Wolf, Frankie, Griffey, Freddy, together with their brilliant mentor, Mojo, the Super Mondo Mega Mutts are going to bring justice back to the avenues and alleyways where out-of-control federal forces and gangs powered up by pilfered alien technology now reign. Coming to ABC this fall. Oh, man.
Yeah, it feels more like syndication to me.
Yeah. This could have easily been aired on UPN on Sundays at 9 a.m. Yep.
Yep, I could see that too. But you left out the best part, Ian. They thought they could put this band of outlaw misfits on a leash. Now the world is going to discover what happens when these mutts bite back.
Yes. How could I forget? How could I miss? Oh, boy. Well, it's 40 pages with no ads, but it's $6.99. So 40 pages with no ads, great. $6.99, little steep for something that's a bit of a that 90s pastiche, to say the least. So, so much so that they even have their own TMNT cover, essentially, by Alex Diato as one of the variants.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Page 705 for the Mondo Mutts, if you're looking to check them out. And then, let's see, we got Mind Management New and Improved Issue 2 by Matt Kent there on page 711. Second issue of that. A new Adventure Time quadruple feature by Mariko Tamaki with art by Brenda Hickey. Tonight's special screening is the opening film or comic by Mariko Tamaki and spellbinding artist Brenda Hickey, in a first-of-its-kind Adventure Time love letter to the silver screen. So we get What's Up, Princess? What do you mean you never heard of the famed 1940s screwball comedy What's Up, Princess? Well, here it is for you, with quadruple feature hits movie screens, comic shops near you. 4-issue mini on page 713.
Sounds like each of the 4 issues will be a pastiche of a different genre from the point of view of a different character.
Yeah. Sounds like it's going to be great, honestly.
Yep. Jake the Dog giving us 1940s screwball comedy, and there's kind of a sample of that right there.
Oh, I love it. Yep. And the cover B is brilliant. Oh, my God. That's the only cover that matters. That's just such a great send-up there. Man. When the artwork itself on the following pages is just perfect. All right, see if anything else of note is here in Oni and their horrible logo. I think that's about it, actually. So onward we go to further into the catalog. Paper Cuts Midnight Island Volume 1, The Automaton Awakens by Lillian, with art by Nicholas Grable. Mysteries unfold in this adventurous series set on an enigmatic island full of secrets and wonders. It's lost for a younger generation. I can get around that. Well, get some mystery action for all ages, or at least the teen folk there on page 737. Also, Disney Science and Comics Cities of Tomorrow. Just pointing that out, that's a thing that exists on page 739.
And it seems to be mostly concerned with Zootopia.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Adaptation of Moana 2 in graphic novel form as well by Studio Ibois with cover by Studio Ibois on the art chores and Suzanne Francis on the writing. So if you're a fan of the movie, you got yourself an adaptation there on page 741. Fright Night, The Witching Hour. This is for me. I am such a Fright Night fan. I love both the original and the later remake. Geo Parsons, James Kahoric, and artwork by Neil Vokes. Welcome back to Fright Night for real. As Charlie Brewster, Amy Peterson, Evil Ed, and Peter Vincent, the famous vampire killer, are back with a brand new story. Picking up the story following the Fright Night senior year storyline, the gang has settled into their new normal, working in tandem with the mysterious Knights of the Silver Crucifix. They are thrown into the supernatural deep end. So further continuation of Fright Night here in The Witching Hour on page 748. More Sherlock Holmes, but more Sherlock Holmes we don't have to pay attention to.
Yeah. It's Cheryl Locke Holmes.
Oh, no.
Who was Holmes's cousin, I think we're being told here. And the case of the murderer murdered by murder.
Ah, yes. Yeah. Yes, I remember that one. Mm-hmm. Turns out it was a murder.
Yes. Conan Doyle would totally approve.
No, he wouldn't.
Yes, he wouldn't.
Hey. Well, what do you expect from American right there? All right. Let's get further down. I think we can get ourselves over to the rest of what's going on here. That's all stuff that we've seen. A whole bunch of spirit stuff. All right. Wow, PS Art Books has a lot of shit this month. My
Big
word,
push from
man.
PS Art Books, yes indeed.
Yeah. Holy cow.
Bunch of old Fawcett stuff in there, I noticed.
Yeah. All right, here we go. 2000 AD at least. 2000 AD Sci-Fi Special 2026. T.C. Egerton, Ian Edgington, Andy Ewington, and Keck W. are on the writing chores on this, illustrated by Boo Cook, not Bob, but Boo, D'Israeli, Gary Welsh, and Anthony Williams, with a great cover by Liam Sharp to go along with it. So everybody gets a summer special, and so does 2000 AD. This is theirs. So if you're a fan of anything 2000 AD, you get yourself a nice oversized 48-pager here for $8.99 and get a little bit of everything. Scholastic. They even include Scholastic in here. No, I know they do. But, Spider-Ham Hollywood Mayhem. Page 871 here. Steve Fox and Shadia Amin. All ages Spider-Ham work. Job well done, Scholastic. Job well done.
All right. We
finally made it.
Titan territory.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And Titan starts us off with a story by Kristen Crook of Smallville fame, and also of cult fame, but she was barely involved with it. Peter Mooney and Eric Pulitzer, along with Joe Baccardo, bring us Black Star, number 1 of 5. Amidst skirmishes between two warring factions in the early 19th century fur trade, Dashiell Carlisle discovers he has magical abilities and that he's not alone. Thrust into a secret order with design to use their magic to build a new and better world, Dashiell discovers that their utopia may come at a horrific cost. Interesting. Well, cool to hear something from a creator like Kristen Crook dipping herself into the world of comic books. So you can check that out if you are interested. Also, a new Solomon Kane by Patch Zerker here on page 891. I'm pretty sure they meant to wrote Patrick Zerker, but they wrote Patch. So, okay. Legend meet legend, Steel meets the divine, the sword of vengeance, answer a higher call. More Solomon Kane work for you there on 891. Then we said we were going to mention more Conan the Barbarian, and we have. Here's issue 33 of Jim Zub's Conan the Barbarian. And we're into the original comics omnibus, Conan the Adventurer. First time ever and given a now classic omnibus collection treatment. This ran for 275 issues. Returned in Conan the Adventurer, an all-new comic written by Conan stalwart Roy Thomas and illustrated by Raphael Kayanin and John Watkiss. Before he was king, he was Conan the Adventurer.
Right.
Yep.
It says there that this is something that they did right after the original Marvel Conan, which ran for 275 issues, kicked the bucket.
Yep.
So they launched this thing to replace it, and I guess
gotcha.
it didn't last all that long.
No, it did not. But here it is. So page 900 for that one. My word, there were 964 pages in this particular lunar catalog this month. Yowzas.
Well, we can see the bottom of it from here, though.
Yes, we can. Marvel Venom, the first 40 years hardcover collection. So if you're looking for history on Marvel's Venom, you've got it. And for some reason, it's out of Titan on page 918. And let's head over to Tomorrow's. And in Tomorrow's, in stores 812, a reminder that the Crisis Companion is coming. That was previously solicited. And you may hear more about that on a future episode of Comic Timing. Plug.
You may indeed.
Let's get the back issue magazine, issue 170. Is there a doctor in the house?
Yep, featuring a bunch of characters who happen to have imaginary doctorates.
Yep.
Like cover boy Dr. Midnight. That's a great image of him.
Yep.
Let's see, Dr. Light, classic DC villain. Dr. Druid, Dr. Bong, less classic Howard the Duck villain.
Yep.
Dr. Radium, kind of an indie character, and more. Featuring the work of Roy Thomas, Todd McFarlane, George Perez, Denny O'Neil, Steve Gerber, Gene Colan, Steve Englehart, Scott Saavedra, Matt Wegner, John K. Snyder III, who did a Dr. Midnight miniseries, I'm pretty sure, and others.
Excellent.
Cover by Matt Wagner, who I think collaborated with him on that aforementioned Dr. Midnight miniseries.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's there for you on page 928. And here's the Crisis Companion getting a full solicitation, even though we already talked about it last month. So that's there on page 929. And that's going to be 256 pages for $36.95 before any sort of discount, featuring the words of the Murd and others. So,
Whether you're a casual fan or a full-fledged crisisologist, this is the definitive companion, one of the most influential comic book series ever published. I feel honored there, since I'm pretty sure Peter and I invented that word.
Oh, yes. And now there it is in solicitation. So, yep. Page 929 for that. And that takes us out of Tomorrow. So I'm going to look and see if there's anything worth it in Udon. And the answer is probably no this month.
They're doing a swimsuit special, too.
Of course they are.
Just the month for it, I guess.
It is the month for it. You better believe it. Page 929. I don't care. All right.
It's there. It's mentioned.
It is. I'll mention one last thing here, an Iranian Metamorphosis by Mana Nestani. This is a powerful graphic memoir which is essential for those interested in stories of artistic freedom, resilience, and the ongoing struggle for expression. A struggle that remains deeply relevant amid the current turmoil in Iran. Can a cartoon cause riots? It seems unbelievable, but for Mana, it's true. One of his cartoons sparked riots, shuttered the newspaper he worked for, and landed the cartoonist in solitary confinement inside of Iran's notorious prison system. Mana's story, which can only be described as Kafkaesque, is vividly brought to life in an Iranian Metamorphosis. Fascinating story here, and one that deserves its time in the sun. So, most definitely had to mention it here on page 949. It's hard to believe this stuff happens, but he's sure to tell the story. So, do check it out. And that is gonna finish us up here, because Nothing else worth it in these particular solicitations, and that is the end of the Lunar Catalog, and we are done. And this is the longest we've got in a while, but you know what? It's the end of the month, and I have work in an hour, so it all worked out. Fantastic. Job well done, Murd.
Well, likewise, Ian. It's really just an hour now until you have to...
It's currently 11:46, and I start work at 12:30 a.m. So that's the way it's going to work. So
you're going to be at it until like 5 a.m., huh?
Damn Skippy. Yep, gonna go make myself a coffee, take a nice shower to get ready, and roll from there. So
all right.
Well, thank you guys for joining us here as always for this particular previews episode, and with that, you get some credits because we get some credits. Email address for Comic Timing is comictiming@gmail.com. Facebook.com/Comic Timing is where you can find us. We're also at the Comic Timing fan group, so do check us out over there. We are available on Blue Sky at Comic Timing. You can find video episodes of this and other episodes at youtube.com/Comic Timing Podcast. You can find us on Instagram, also at Comic Timing Podcast, and Threads as Comic Timing Podcast as well. For Murd, I'm Ian Levstein, reminding everybody out there that there's always time for comics, and there's a lot of comics to talk about. Oh my God, so many comics. Holy crap, so many comics. My word. Ah, yes. Hey, stop it. All right, there you go.